I keep getting DMs to my white followers. I promise y'all I'm not racist. I keep getting DMs like, I love your content, but I feel like you're fucking racist, dude. After all these hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years and lies on lies on lies, sometimes I just want to bring the truth back to my people. Y'all lied enough. Not only were we lied to, y'all were lied to about us as well. I'm just here to uncover the truth. And sometimes the truth is ugly. Sometimes the truth hurts. I promise y'all I'm not prejudiced against white people. I'm not interested in being your favorite black. I don't really like black people, but her, she's a good one. Fuck y'all for that, straight up. And I just left church. I ain't even supposed to say that, but fuck y'all. Y'all know I love history. Over and over and over again, I seen y'all be prejudiced towards my people, and I can't find a fucking reason. And that's what frustrates me. It's not that I don't like white people. It's the fact that when I look up, it's always a white people. I wonder how the fuck will white people be if the tables were turned? How would y'all be if y'all the one that had to overcome slavery and prejudice for hundreds and hundreds of years? I wonder how y'all would feel if y'all couldn't trace back where the fuck y'all came from. We don't even know where we came from because guess what? Somebody that looked just like y'all hid that. Somebody that looked just like y'all enslaved the people that look just like me. People that look just like y'all hung people that look just like me. People that look just like y'all burned a fucking church with little black girls in it that looked just like me when I was a little fucking black girl. How can you blame me for seeing an enemy that looks like the enemy? And no matter what, and no matter how bad y'all talk about us, tell me one thing we do to y'all except overcome the situations and the systems y'all put us in.
Hey, Boo Bears. Let me say this. My husband and I are going to continue to advocate. I know so many people are like, oh my God, you need to stay off social media. You need to give it a break. Well, just know I'm not on social media all day. I'm not. I've been heavy in my Kindle. And then, of course, too, I have other children that I take care of. But occasionally I do pop on. Most of the time I just post, come off. But trust and believe that I'm doing the things I need to do to take care of my mental. And sometimes posting does feel nice because I get to check in with my different Boo Bears and see how everyone is doing. But if you have an issue with me advocating and asking questions, I don't think I'm the problem, babe. I think you're the problem. I think you need to take a step back and ask yourself, why are you so triggered? Or what is causing you to be so upset that I am asking for answers? That is it. That is all. Never ask for special treatment, none of that. But there are just a lot of people who's bothered. But what I will tell you is that there are a lot more people who, despite the nasty, negative narratives that are trying to be thrown out there's a lot of other people supporting me and my husband Elmore. And we just appreciate that. You know, just as parents, losing a child, I'm telling you y'all, it hits different. My mom passed away. It's going to be 8 years. And this hurt, I've said this in another video, this hurt is different. This is like a soul-wrenching hurt. Like you feel like your heart is just being ripped out. I don't even know if that's even a good way to describe this hurt, but yeah. But I just want to say thank you guys. Like I'm telling y'all, thank you so much. Thank you to all the content creators who are using their podcasts, their platforms, all those things to make sure that Nolan's story is going. I appreciate y'all. And I know I say thank you all the time, but even when I'm broken, I still need to give thanks, whether it's thanking the Lord for another day, thanking him for the time we had with Nolan, or just simply saying thank you to you guys for just loving on me and my family and your prayers. And I appreciate it. I'm sorry I can't get back to everybody because it is overwhelming, but just know I appreciate you and I love you. And I'm going to go clean up and get my life together. Have a great Sunday, guys.
Blessings, and good evening, everyone. Welcome to Grace Live with her deep dives. I'm trying to figure a name for my episodes, but definitely we do deep dives here. And I want to say thank you for being here with me. Today, we're going to cook. You see the name of this topic, Who Called the Judge and Damit Bart. Okay, so we wanted to first start off with showing love to mom. Okay, Miss Christine, to remind everyone, the audience, the naysayers, some of the people we're going to show today, the why behind it. Not only did she throw the hat up for the Black community to get involved, but we see the pain that she's going through from the day she lost her son until now, from the ridicule to them coming after her job and so much more. So today, what I'm going to be doing is cooking on the Nolan Wells case, and we're going to be doing it from an investigative perspective. My name is Grace Levi. I am not a Democrat or a Republican. I am a separatist, and I separate from the BS. Okay, so if you know anything about my channel, you'll see a little bit about me doing investigations, bringing, cases, reading them, exposing public officials and things like that. So today what we're going to be doing is revisiting the timeline, constructing a timeline of what happened between 9 a.m. and 4:30 p.m. This is where we're going to focus in on. If you haven't seen our last 3 deep dives, please take your time to go look at them, because the last deep dive has this information in it, but we got a little bit more. What we're going to be visiting again, because the reason why we're going to be revisiting this, I'm giving you the because before I tell you, but we're going to be revisiting the Tatum interview. The reason why I think that Officer Tatum interview is very important is because that is basically the only eyewitness statements that we're getting. Every other statement that we're getting in the public is from naysayers, people who support, legal experts, things like that. But we need to build the timeline from the actual people who was there, the GPS data, as well as what else? We got 2 interviews. We got the GPS data, and also I got my paper right here. I got my paper. We're gonna cook and see towing call. Okay, so today that's what we're gonna be revisiting. But before we do that, we're gonna be talking about some important updates. Now, you guys know I have been saying, as a mother, as a person who has young kids around this age, I figured out what they were doing on that island. They were drinking and they were fighting. My main concern in this particular situation, as I mentioned many times, is what was the safety barriers that was supposed to be set up? Who was the adults there? And a few more questions that we're going to hit right now. So highlighting that there has been some new updates allegedly stating that possibility that Nolan Wells was in a fight. We're going to visit that, as I won't be surprised. But before we get there, we're going to talk about some biases, some direct biases. So the first person we're going to be talking about is Dr. Stacey Turner. You guys already know who she is. She is the pathophysiologist of Mississippi. And we're going to highlight commentary that I have been showing you is from Miss Zoe Wu. Okay, shout out to Miss Wu. Let's put on a
Medical examiner in Mississippi has never ruled mysterious black deaths as a homicide. Are you talking about her? You talking about Fatty Damn Patty? You talking about Turkey Neck Tiffany? Of course she wouldn't. Because her father and her granddaddy and her granddaddy before their granddaddy were probably Klansmen. They probably right now still mask up and hang folks. Burn crosses in people's yards, all right? That's where this girl right here come from. You can tell by the collar on her shirt. One thing about it, God sees all. Yes, the same God that y'all think hates us, he sees it all, baby. No matter what you believe in religiously, I hope you all understand that for every action, there's a reaction. And in every belief, there's karma. You reap what you sow, baby girl. If you put it in that dirt, you're gonna get whatever comes out that dirt. This what you put in the dirt, baby. Ain't no telling what's gonna come up out that dirt for you, all right? I just want to let everybody else that looks like these victims and also me, it stops this fucking year. Y'all will not continue to keep doing this shit. Y'all want to move and grab y'all purses and clutch y'all pearls when y'all get around us. Bitch, I'm gonna give you a reason to clutch some shit.
No cat, okay?
Hey, Boo
Funny here.
Bears. Let me say
Well,
this.
we're gonna have to keep it real. We're not here to play, we're here to slay. Hold on one second. Let me add something back to the screen real quick. So what we're gonna do is just talk a little bit about, matter of fact, what we're gonna do is talk a little bit about what's going on with the pathophysiologist. Okay, so if you don't know, at the bottom of the video, I do have in the description a link to a petition. There has been a formal petition that has been set against Judge Fatty Patty, and also let's correct that, Judge Ashley Cole and pathophysiologist Fatty Patty. I'm just going to say that. So there has been turn of events that just happened because people are noticing a trend of how can I say, pathophysiology reports that just doesn't make sense. A couple of months ago, we did a live on Trey Reed, the 21-year-old Delta student from Atlanta, Georgia, who was unalived shortly after having an encounter with the Atlanta police outside of the campus. If you haven't seen that, I'll put that video at the end or put a link so you'll be able to see it. So this gentleman was found unalive in Atlanta Park, where a park that he visited many times, but he has videos where he was in and out of the park. So I did a little bit of investigation. If you want to look at that, I highlighted some funny business, but we have not followed up. But what that goes to say, Trey Reed, the Delta State University student, hold on one second, suicide, hold on, Ben Crump, hold on one second. I'm trying to, because I remember this Delta University was, oh my God, give me a second. I'm mixing it up. I'm going to bring you, his name is Cal Basinga. I do apologize. Let's rewind that. I'm mixing these students up because it happened around the same time it's happening to us. Let's correct this. She is connected to the Trey Reed case. I was mixing it up with the Cal Basinga case that took place around the same time in Atlanta, Georgia. I forgot the college, but I know it's downtown Atlanta, and I was giving you the description of what happened. He had a short encounter with the police, and sometime throughout that evening, they started looking for him, and then they found him a few days later. I'm going to put the link to that, okay? But let me get to the corrected situation. That is Trey Reed, 2015, 21-year-old Delta student university that was found hanging from the tree on his campus. Now, what that goes to say, I believe that particular live, I did one on Trey Reed as well, that was remarkably close to the Charlie Kirk situation. So when you look at that video, you're going to kind of see how I kind of like paralleled those two situations when you had Miss Charlie Kirk yell out, how can I say, dog whistles. Give me 1 second. I want to make sure that I'm okay on the long screen too. All right, she had yelled out some dog whistles, and then we had Trey Reed case, okay? And this was connected to our beautiful, beautiful pathophysiologist, Miss Stacy Turner. Next, we have Mr. Cameron, 21 in 2021, following a violent encounter with the sheriff deputy who reportedly knelt on his back and neck. His unaliving was initially ruled undetermined. Later, 3 independent forensic pathophysiologists reviewed the case files and highlighted to the national media that the death was ruled a homicide. That was after 3 reviews, okay? But when she did, it was undetermined. Then we have Danielle Young. Independent reports surfaced showing state investigators initially ruled out suicide, excuse my language, because this is YouTube suicide, but drastically misinterpret the pathway of the situation, leading to a severe distress over the ballistic trauma and physical evidence related to the state's investigation related to Miss Stacy. Lastly, we have Miss Fortune. That's the young lady who just passed away most recently. We're going to add her to the screen. and remind you of her situation.
Hold on, because I need to shed some light on this. The chief medical.
Give me 1 second, highlighting that this same chief medical examiner ruled her death as well as suicide. Bear with me. I have a lot to show you guys, so y'all gonna have to just deal with me trying to get everything on the screen for you and remembering where is that occur. So just bear with me. I hope you guys are having a great day. And I don't want to bring tragedy to you guys, but we got to bring the truth. Let me see where our clip is at. There we go. Let's put it on the screen.
Okay, y'all. So everybody's talking about 29-year-old Miss Tasia Fortune, who was found hanging from a tree behind a vacant house in Jackson, Mississippi. And the thing is, with all the stuff going on with Nolan Wells, we get news like this, and it's sending us over the top, because we know she didn't hang herself. We know she didn't hang herself. Somebody lynched her, murdered her. And we need more and more people in an outrage about this. We need more and more people talking about this. For some reason, there's been a major surge, a major uptick in racism, bigotry. I don't know. The heat didn't turned up. And now it's just getting more and more out of hand. People getting more and more bold. And this is it's just amazing to me that this stuff is still happening
In 2026. So my white followers, let me know what's going on. You know what I'm saying? Let us know what's going on in the white community. Why is there so much white rage, and why is it seems to be focused towards us, the black community, who's actually not doing anything to you, and your white rage should be pointed at Trump and all of the BS. We're going to talk about it in Grace in the Mornings. But with that goes to say, now, the petition for the pathophysiologist is securing a legislative sponsor will help this petition after the petition is fulfilled. Advocates must partner with the state representative or senator to get this petition moving, guys. So if you guys don't know what happens after the petition, because it's not just the petition, baby. Oh, no, we moving forward, okay? So if they don't get a state representative or a senator, they also can use a larger organization like the NAACP. In this particular situation, we already have Mr. Brent Crump. So this should be a process that should be able to be forward. Again, we're talking about getting the pathophysiologist fired. Y'all know I love to get people who are dishonorable, not doing their job, and a detriment to the community fired. Okay, I got my own little investigation going on. I'll keep you guys up to date. I'm on my last hurrah with that, if y'all know what I'm talking about. Moving forward, the community is asking for mandated independent oversight. Okay, legally, the bill will need to be amended to the existing Mississippi code regarding coroner's medical exam. So basically looking to get the current rules and regulations for the coroner medical exam in Mississippi. How can I say, when you add an amendment to it, adjust it, all right? It will aim to mandate that when a family dispute a local ruling, an independent out-of-state forensic review it automatically triggered before a final death certificate is issued, which would save the family money. Again, if you don't know why, the why behind everything is happening is because they're not being transparent. Again, they already said that there was no foul play in the beginning. And yeah, it's a whole lot of factors in here that we're going to bring up as far as possible political ties. Okay, so this is the first one that I wanted to highlight, was a little bit about Miss Stacy, Miss Fatty Patty. Let's see, can we put her on the board? Shout out to Miss Wu. Shout out to my Zoes out there representing. Yes, she is Haitian, and she didn't even know she was Haitian until she got her DNA test. She sounds just as black as all the black Judah, right? She thought she was. Shout out to Wu Breezy. Now, this is who Fatty Patty is. So we already know that is a petition against her, and we're going to be keeping our eye on that. Next petition, let's replace that and go to Miss Ashley, the judge. Miss Beautiful Ashley. Okay, let's get to it. Hold on one second. Make sure I have all of my information together. We have a lot to talk about. All right. So it has been a petition issued on the behalf of Miss Judge Ashley. We're going to talk about her a little bit more today because we're going to review her son's interview, because again, I think that is the most important focal point that we have to dissect, because he's the only witness that's really talking next to the mixed kid. We're going to watch a little bit of that. Now, I got key points where we're just going to kind of run through it. I want you to listen to what's going on so you can kind of see, listen to some context clues that we may have missed. But when it comes to the petition for Miss Judge Ashley, it is looking to get Miss Judge Ashley actually removed. Okay, give me 1 second. Let me make sure I got my paper. Okay. So the first step in this, okay, and I'm not foreign to that, is filing the ethical report. I will be doing that this week. Yes, God be the glory, I have to. But yes, it's not a hard process. After the petition is filled, the next step to that is filing a formal ethical complaint. Okay, so the legal team must submit a formal ethical complaint detailing how Miss Judge Ashley Cole, I put her name together, I do apologize, public social media statement violate the Mississippi Code of Judge Conduct, highlighting that they will argue possibly that she breached Canon 2. Okay, go look that up, which forbids a judge from using prejudice of their office to advocate for private interest for another in a case. Okay, so the commission power. This is for those who don't know what's the steps and what they can do. Okay. So if the commission finds merit in the complaint after investigation, we will hope it's an outside entity, they have the legal authority to remand. The Mississippi Supreme Court issued a public recommendation for her, a fine, a suspension, or remove her from her bench entirely. So that's what the Black community is looking for, because Miss Judge Ashley Cole should have never came out and made the statement that she made definitively. But we're going to listen to Warren's interview because he says something that actually incriminates her and makes her some type of witness in the day's event between 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. as I've been highlighting, 3 p.m. Okay, guys, we're going to get to it. So again, they're asking for her to be removed or step aside. Step aside, Bucky. Now, where are we going to start at? Let's get to looking at again Tatum's interview with Warren, and you're going to understand why I'm revisiting this. And we're just not going to watch it like how we watched it before. We're going to watch it in like clip by clip at time frames. Okay. Cause yeah, I got some key points that I want to highlight for you guys, or you guys to listen to. All right. So bear with me. We're going to start with this.
Some of the boys that they're accusing wasn't even on the boat that Nolan was on.
If I'm sitting waist deep in water and all my friends are, everybody's leaving their phone on a boat. I open the back hatch and there's water up to the batteries. And that is obviously not good. Nolan decided to stay on the island with the girl that he was with. And the girl is a witness to that too.
Yeah. All right, we're in Mississippi right now. We're getting ready to recount the exact path that the boys took, also with Nolan Wells, from where they docked the boat at all the way out to Horn Island and back. The boys are going to explain to me exactly what went on, how many people were there, how many boats were taken out, which I think the world is going to be completely dumbfounded when they realize what the truth really is, because the lies have been pervasive. So we're right here where
so we're going to start right there. We're going to get to 3 minutes in the broadcast where you hear Warren starts to talk about his account of the day. Okay. And I need you guys to start listening closely to some of these context clues. Okay.
you look out right here, just so you guys can get a perspective. You have the Horn Island here. But I want you guys to put this in your mind what this was like on that day.
Hold on. No, let me correct. This is Officer Tatum explaining what it's like out there. And then in a few minutes, we're going to get to Warren's statement. So let's listen to Officer Tatum explain how, what Horn Island looks like, because in part 5, we're going to get more into that in detail.
We have boats 2, 3, 4 deep from way down there where you can see all the way through here. You have thousands of people on this island, probably 2,000 people. So this wasn't some abandoned, secluded island where nobody's at. Obviously, this is a Monday.
So what you hear Officer Tatum trying to get through to the people, that it was thousands of people here again. Now, this is a narrative that he's pushing because all of the weight is going on the boys. We addressed this already, but since it's thousands of people here, we have to highlight that thousands of witnesses are there and someone had to see something. Let's get to our next point.
Line up based on what I've seen and what I've heard from people that live here that were involved in this situation. This is where the lie started. People were putting out on social media, knowing that they're lying, that this is what it was like on a day that Nolan and his friends came out here to Horn Island. And if it was 4 or 5 people and they came out here and Nolan was with them and maybe it was a few people out here like it is today and Nolan came up missing, then maybe it would be suspicious. But they didn't take the time to give context to the people because they're evil and they're liars.
Yeah, because we're evil and we're liars. Now we're going to get to Warren, okay, and his account of things.
Flat out lie.
And I just want to give you a heads up. All we do here is focus on the facts. I will give you some of my opinion, but as you see, I just broke down what will happen after the petition. So expect that type of information from me, because they're saying that we out here just throwing information out, would have, could have, should have. On these videos that I do for you, we're going to be revisiting some things probably over and over and then hear things different. But again, I think it's very important for us to hear things that was released in the beginning and start to see the change, a sequence and event as we keep revisiting what we know is facts. Okay, not just our opinion.
Is there anything that you want to say, you want people to know about this whole experience?
Yeah, I mean, from someone, if someone's not from here, it's kind of hard to understand, where the island drops off and how the island works. But, there's plenty of people out here, especially on the 4th of July, this is where people come out to celebrate. And I mean, if you film the water, you can see right here, Brandon, where it drops off. I mean, you can see literally where it drops off. So, I mean, it goes from about waist deep water right there to neck deep. And then it drops from neck deep all the way to like 17, 20 foot.
Now, pay attention to those details, because in later interviews, he's going to highlight where they were parked at, as well as I'm going to call him the mixed kid. We're going to watch a little bit of his interview, and he's going to talk about his day, because it is kind of important. First, I was like, oh, he's not important, but he is important, because you're going to hear the mixed friend say that he was actually with them from 11 a.m. all the way till 3, allegedly just before he had the fight. Now, again, I'm highlighting that it was several fights going on this island. So to say that this was a joyous event and every year they go and have fun, I think they've been drinking for 6 hours and fighting. But I'm gonna move forward. I'll get out of my mother mode.
I mean, we weren't even a quarter mile out the island, and when we were leaving, and I mean, it was 30 foot of water.
Yeah.
But I mean, if we're walking towards the east right now, but if you walk down.
So that's when he talks about the position of the boat when they left. I need you to pay attention. So this is kind of abstract. You get a little bit more details, but then we get more details from actually the GPS and the sea tow call time frame, and a little bit from the friends. So let's move on into this next clip. See, we're making our way faster than what we did before, because I had to rewatch this and get the important clips from us. So here, he talks a little bit about the phone situation. And again, we highlighted this. it's little ridiculous for them to keep focusing on Wi-Fi, things like that, because the average person or average phone can take a picture just regular and store it. A lot of us sometimes, if we don't have service, we're gonna snap some pictures, save them, and re-upload them. What I'm thinking, from my opinion, from what I heard from Miss Christine, his phone was wiped out. She would, I think she would have told us or mentioned like it was some pictures other places, but not on the Snapchat for some apparent reason. And I'm just worried about that. That's not what she said. But again, just a little bit about him talking about the phone, and then he talks about the boats, and he goes into a little bit of the issues of the boats. And we're going to listen, because Warren is the person that Damit Bart and his lawyer should be going after. Because don't worry, we're going to be bringing Damit Bart into this, because we know his lawyer is head hunting for content creators. But baby, I don't know about this one right here, because all we're going to do is present the facts, and we're going to remind you how your client got involved in this particular situation, because it's a little ugly. It's not even weird. The way things are panning out, it looks ugly.
Time, and like no one has their phone though, usually. I mean, unless you're crazy, I'm not walking around with my phone in my hand. They've been walking around Horn Island, you know.
How many people left the phone on the boat? Was it just his phone when y'all left, or
right,
did other people have phones on the boat?
Absolutely not. Like, there was at least, well, I rode out here on a different boat, like I told you, and
Now, and this is what we need to pay attention to. As Officer Tatum mentioned, as the photos mentioned, it was hundreds of boats. They had at least 3 boats with them lined up together, and that is verified by Warren and by the mixed friend. Okay, so it should be at least 3 vessels that people are paying attention to, and the surrounding boats that were watching in the area. I'm not watching Nolan, but watching the event. Everybody looked like they were packed on top of each other. So let's just fast forward on this particular part, because in this part, what really got me is this. And that's why I say the hill has eyes. And he says this. He says it. We'll go back. I think we'll talk about the island and things like that. But he says it right here. Let's get to it. Hold on. There we go.
Like on that day,
right.
And hopefully people can understand what the truth is,
right,
and make their own decision on facts.
Right. I mean, based off, like, people, there's not a lot of people that are from the Mississippi Gulf Coast that don't understand Horn Island and don't understand the way boating works. And, boating is a tight-knit community. I like to fish a lot, and, there's, everybody, a lot of people know a lot of people. Everybody knows everybody. I know a lot of fishermen on the Gulf Coast. They know me and my buddies, because we like to go in the water all the time. I mean, that's what we do in the summer. And, I mean, a lot of people from the Gulf Coast know the truth behind, you don't take your phone out the boat. The little fact.
So what I want to stop at is to highlight that they're a very tight-knit community out there, and everybody knows everybody. One of the things that I had to clarify myself was, how did Nolan get on this island with all of these Caucasian people, and then he had another set of Black friends somewhere else? But Javon was actually on the island as well. So this is something that we're going to visit in later lives as well, because I have seen a most recent clip of Javon looking very nervous, and he don't want to talk to the social media, which is understandable. But with that goes to say, under my synopsis, there was the relationship between Warren and I believe Nolan. It starts in the school district, and I think the appendage is actually mom working in healthcare. Now let's get this together. His father, Warren's father, a doctor, does not work at the same hospital that Miss Christine works at. So we have to clarify that, because there has been some mistake about that, but they do not work together. Okay, so let's just keep this on one accord. Now, when it comes to them having a connection in school, you're going to hear them talk about their loose connection. That's why I believe that Miss Christine don't really know them, because they have a loose connection in school. as you're going to hear them talk about. Now, when it comes to individual relationship, Nolan mother. Okay, so that's 3 teenagers. I have made some notes so I can make sure that I can stay on task. So let's highlight this too. Warren has double protection. Allegedly, a new statement has come out from his mother. That was another thing where I was mixed up. I thought that Judge Ashley was actually his mother, because I was like, who would actually risk their job, risk their life for their kid, like just to come out and say something? Even with my son, if he or my daughter was involved, I wouldn't come out and make a statement, especially if I was a legal expert or a judge. So I thought that Miss Ashley was the mother, but she's not. So just know, Miss Christine. Whoa, okay, so we'll be talking about his mother that just made a statement most recently. I think I have it. Hold on. Let me see if I can find it real quick. I think I have a statement or something. And this is alleged because sometimes these things come up and we don't have them totally verified yet. No, give me 1 second. I think I put that to the side because I wanted to verify if that was Warren's real mother. So we're going to revisit that particular statement. Okay, as far as the second mother coming out, but that person allegedly is supposed to be a judge, just to give you guys a heads up. So we did clarify that Warren father and Miss Christine doesn't work at the same hospital, but because they're rival hospitals and things like that, that could have been the reason why she was allegedly reported falsely after her son was unalive. Not only come for her son's life and take it, they're trying to come for her livelihood. But this is things that we suffer all the time in the Black community, that our counterparts don't want to hear. Okay. The issue with Miss Ashley, again, is her influence and the connections. There has been a video that was released that I'm going to put on the screen that, let's see, is brought to you by Telehouse Publishing. Now, I saw this clip on TikTok and Instagram, but I didn't totally want to play it because it'd be sometimes you just can't verify. Okay, so I'm going to share this knowing that my brother shared it and that he, provides pretty accurate information, but I will hope right here that this was was verified. But this is some of the questions that we have when it comes to Miss Ashley, her part in this particular situation. And then you're going to hear in the next interview that we show you, maybe the next one or one after that, where you hear Warren actually says that he called his mother while he was on Horn Island between the time his brother had a fight. The brother fighting, the mixed kid fighting, somebody's yelling for the phone, just crazy stuff. But let's just watch this. Shout out to Taylor House Publishing. I do apologize. And we're going to listen to this.
To the fifth. Just listen to this, and I'll be back with some more commentary.
Yeah, 4. 930 0803.
Negative, we're en route to the judge's house now. Negative, we're en route to the judge's house now. You said y'all are en route to the judge's house or from the judge's house? En route to the judge's house. Asking for IQ up on you. Appreciate it. 10-4. 5123 in the area. Mississippi 28, John, Mary 809.
So in this particular clip, it is allegedly a clip highlighting the police going to her house. They're on the dispatch call saying they're going to her house. Allegedly, it highlights the date of July the 4th, 2026 at 11:26 p.m. to 11:56. I don't know if this is a true recording. This for information, educational purposes only. But this can't. If this is true, this is one of the other reasons why the public is very, very skeptical of Miss Ashley Cole. Okay, so now what we're going to do is get into that next interview where we're going to highlight a little bit more of Warren's relationship, just key things that he says that makes me say as well as the time frame of the events, and that's what we're going to revisit. And the reason why we're revisiting, because it's very important, because this is the only witness that actually talked. It is. It's the only witness that talked. Anybody else talks on his behalf, his lawyer, their friends, me, you. It's not credible.
So,
It's
Warren, I'm
our
going to ask you some
opinion.
very pointed.
So with him, this can be used against him in court. Okay, so this is why it's important. So let's get to it. Warren speaks about his relationship, and there's some key words that I hear that makes me say, okay, and makes me really like understand that there is a social distance between who Nolan was and the role he played with these friends and my buddies. My buddies slipped up and said, "Damn it, Bart."
Questions. I mean, just straight out. The first thing I want to ask you is, did you kill Nolan? All right.
Is this
it? He always had a smile on his face. He always had something good to say. I've never seen Nolan get in an argument with somebody and say bad things about someone. You know, there's a lot of people that talk crap nowadays, and Nolan was never that person. Sweetest soul ever. And I mean, I had a great relationship with Nolan. I've never got in an argument with Nolan. We were super close, and I've never said or will ever have anything bad to say.
Now, when I was watching this before, guys, if y'all don't know, I'm filled with the Ruach. I'm Hebrew and I'm Levi. And when I was listening to him, something really came over me. Like he has a sense of sadness or a sense of guilt or something over him. And this is why you may see the new change of events where not only did his father put $50,000 bond, but then the guilt comes in where we need some defense money. Allegedly, it's not allegedly. This is what Warren father is doing. That's a little weird. $50,000 to help solve and some defense money. Yeah, that's really out of pocket, but that's kind of what I read from him, like his mannerism. But that's just me looking from a spiritual perspective, not from any other perspective. So let's go on to what he talks about happened on the 4th. I'm going to get to it and pay attention to the keywords he says.
Did you hang out often in this fashion? And then I want you to then walk me through 4th of July this year when the incident happened.
Okay. You know, being from the Gulf Coast, there's a boating and fishing is very, very popular. The 4th of July, every year, my friends and I or my family and I are out on the water. I mean, that's the one day is guaranteed everybody's going out. And that's a known thing. Everybody's trying to get a ride out to Horn Island, or, you know, people go to Ship Island, but most of everybody from Ocean Springs and the Gulf Coast go to Horn Island. And, you know, we went last year. Nolan was on the boat with me last year, and he was, I mean, this was a common thing. My friends go on the boat when we're home. Very, very common. That's what we like to do. My friends like to fish also, and like to go on the boat. Not just fishing, but like to go on the boat, like to go on sunset cruises, like to do it all, you know, on the water, you know. And I mean, Nolan loved to do that too. I mean, he was not like he was just like everyone else in our friend group. He loved to go on the water and, you know, have a good time with the guys, and that's what we did a lot. But 4th of July, everybody was out there. Like I said, like Nolan was always trying to go on the boat, trying to go out there with us. And
Nolan, now you hear that. Nolan always was trying to go on the boat. He was always trying to go out there with us. Now, when you hear that, I know you're like, oh, she's reaching. But I listen to context clues because as a nurse, that's how I could kind of tell a relationship between people, what's going on. And then I can get a sense of abuse too as well, you know, or a sense of separation, because we do have to monitor key words, behaviors for signs of abuse. So that's what I'm listening to, the kind of degree of separation where he talks about Nolan wanted to come with us. You know, we're always on the boat, and, you know, anytime you get a chance, we bring a Nolan with us like he's a tag along.
He was always welcome.
So that kind of will highlight the possibility if something did happen to Nolan, why everybody else will kind of garner to stick together versus just telling the truth, because Nolan may have been not only the black outcast, but just not their regulars.
Nolan was always out there with us, and but started 4th of July, you know, my buddies and I had talked about this week's upcoming, you know, everybody's very, very excited for the 4th of July from down here. Like it's a big thing.
It's a big deal.
Now, this is where we're going to have to highlight right here. But we're going to have to highlight this. Can I add something else to here, y'all? Let me see. Can I add a photo? One more photo. We're going to have to add a photo here. Let's see. Damn it, Bart. Damn it, Bart, and your lawyer. This is where you come up at.
Very, very big deal. And I mean, I actually stayed with Nolan that night at my buddy's house, and I woke up at my buddy's house, and we went to McDonald's, got food. Nolan was not with me.
I'm not sure if his buddy is Bart and him and Nolan spent the night there, but just listen to how this unwinds.
And I went and got breakfast. I had my buddy's boat hooked up to my truck, and well, first I ran to my house, then I went to McDonald's and came back, and the boat was already hooked up to my truck. My buddy Wyatt and I went, and with my buddy, and we went.
So at first I got confused. Like my buddies, he called it Wyatt. My buddy, no, he called his buddy Wyatt and him. It's 3 people, which I believe is Damn It Bart.
Filled the top of the boat off, loaded it down with ice, and just got everything ready. Then Wyatt went and put his smaller boat in the water, which is the Palm Beach. He's an 18-foot Palm Beach, and I drove the boat from Fort Bayou boat launch to my buddy's grandparents' house.
To his buddy grandparents' house. So Wyatt is already there, and then they drove to his buddy's grandparents' house.
And that's where we all planned to meet up that day. And
you say we all, who are you talking about? You, Nolan, or Nolan, and how many?
Who is his buddy and the grandparents? Is it Wyatt? He may mix this up. Is he talking about Wyatt grandparents? The same grandparents who has a CTO account and called to stop them from getting help? And we have to, when we listen more, we're going to see that Bart was in this from the beginning as far as the series of events. So to his lawyer who's trying to figure out why everybody's saying, damn it, Bart, not only because that was said in the audio that we're going to re-listen to nice and clear, but what Warren says.
People are going to meet you guys there.
We had roughly 20 to 30 people coming on 3 separate boats with us. And so we were all following each other out there as one big group. You know, it wasn't just me and Nolan. And
so he's talking about numerous people. So again, I can understand why, you know, Tatum is trying to catch on to an angle. Come on, if you bias, you're going to try to catch on to whatever. Like, oh, no, it wasn't them. It's a lot of people. It was a lot of people out there. So a lot of the things that has happened out there, like the fights and everything, we should have a good report of it, honestly. So let's get to this part. I think he talks about that he's going into the thousands of people who's there. And then he goes into a little bit more about Bart.
It's the most popular day to be on the water on, you know, throughout the entire Gulf Coast. I mean, everybody and their mom is on the water on 4th of July, you know. There's no telling. I mean, roughly probably 2 to 3, maybe even 4,000 people out there. There were boats lined up off the island. I mean, there was 3 rows of boats all the way until my vision ended, until I could see of people there was 1 row of boats, and then there was another row of boats, and then there was a 3rd row of boats. Yeah. I mean, there was people lined up all up and down the island.
You hear all of these people lined up, boats behind boats behind boats. So if they got there early, they should be there. You're going to hear where they're parked at, because the mixed French says where they're parked at. So that says to me that there should be numerous people who've seen the incident where I believe it was Wyatt that was yelling at Nolan, get on a damn boat, and we're going to dissect that because Warren, again, should have not made this interview. I want them to make interviews, but I just tell you, like, from a legal perspective, everybody else better shut up because he literally messed up. I'm just being honest. So let's just get to a little bit more.
I mean, who knows? I mean, and that wasn't just, we were parked on the north side, on the west tip. It wasn't just there. I mean, there's tons of people packed out on the south side and on the east end and in the middle of the island. But just where we were, I mean, there was easily 1,000 people. It wasn't just us.
Let's go back a little bit. I want to go back to you.
It was a great day to be on the water.
He's going to get to Bart now.
At the dock, getting on the boat. You're saying there's multiple people, probably 20 or 30 people getting on 3 boats.
Right.
What boat were you on, and what boat was Nolan on?
Nolan was on Wyatt's 22 Triton. On the way out, I went with my buddy Bart because we had a lot of friends from college coming down, and I called Bart that morning. I was like, "Hey man, can you take your boat out?" And he was like, "Yeah, well, my dad's decided not to go, and I'll take the boat and I'll take you and your friends." Of course, I mean, he's a buddy of mine, and
so out of the group of people, it sounded like Bart was supposed to be the responsible one here. We're going to talk about some of the laws. Well, I don't think I got all the information about the law of the sea, but we'll get to it. But as we know, there's supposed to be a responsible adult that is heading these boats, each boat, as you're going to hear when we get to the mixed kid. The reason why he didn't ride with them, allegedly, because his uncle begged him to ride with him because he needed somebody to man the boat with him because they had a lot of people. So in this particular clip, you hear Warren says that Bart was basically kind of like the designated adult to get you these people back and forth. And there was at least 10 to 15 people on Bart's boat. And so when Bart was doing all of this stuff, when we talk about like towing them and stuff, where's the 10 to 15 people that he originally had on his boat? These are the questions that we have to ask. If I'm asking good questions and I'm making you think, please hit the like button and turn your notifications on, guys. Okay? Thank you.
So Bart pulled up at the dock, and I mean, I rode out there with Bart and a lot of the girls that go to college with my friends and I, and Nolan rode out on the Triton, and then we had a Palm Beach, 18 Palm Beach. There was 4 guys on that. There was like 8 people on the Triton, and then there was 8 or 9 people on the Triton, and then there was the rest of the group, which was ranged from maybe 10 to 15 or 16 people on.
We at least had 35 witnesses right here. At least.
My buddy's tide line, which is 24 tide line.
And so you guys get on, and I know a little bit more.
All right, so now we're going to get into where they talk about they get to Horn Island, I believe, at 10 a.m. because that's where we got to establish a timeline, a real timeline, okay? Yeah, based on what we got out here. The only things that could be cross-referenced between different facts, that is GPS data, what this guy's saying, Katie's statement, and the mixed kid statement, because he gives a time. Yeah.
Sure everybody, gets out there safe. And so, I mean, on the way out there, it was pretty calm. I think it was blowing like 3 or 4. There was a group out. But 10:30 is, still pretty early in the day. And when we got there, there was already 3 rows of boats lined up all the way, like I said, until I could.
So again, let's listen to this timeline. He's saying 10:30, they got there. Okay. And you're going to hear from the mixed kid where he says that no called him around 10 something to say, where you at on the island?
See, and
you're talking, when you say all you can see, you're speaking about miles.
Yeah.
Of boat. When we went out there earlier today, but when we went out there, the island is massive.
Correct.
I mean, it's just.
We're going to get to the size of the island, geographical things in part 5. Okay. Just bear with me. My brain power can do but so much. putting this together, but I want certain things to be highlighted so we can stay focused, especially on what we brought to you at the beginning, the judge's petition, and how the steps that will be taken afterwards could get her disbarred or she needs to step down, as well as the pathophysiology history, get her up out of there. Those are the two most important parts that we brought up. But let's cook a little bit more so we can unveil the truth behind what happened.
Several miles long.
Roughly 10.
So let's get to he's going to talk a little bit more about the boat position here, and we're going to visit this boat thing, like I said, in part 5. Let's listen to this.
Good. And everyone just got on the water. And then eventually, next thing, but when we got there, we tied up, got, bow and rear anchor set, and
listen, now
tied up all.
This is going to go into a little bit, and I have the report here, but we may not be able to cook on it. This is going to go into the Cajun Navy. The reason why I don't call it U.S. Cajun Navy, because they're not a government entity, and I refuse to deal with the confusion. The Cajun Navy has their own timeline and things and their perspective about the level of the water, but he's going to tell you exactly where they parked and how that level of water reflected off of their body.
Boats, made sure they were good, and everyone just got on the water. And then eventually, next thing you know, it's our group, and then, next thing you know, there's 50 other people around us, and then it just grew and grew as the day came on. And, that's just how it was. Everybody's drinking, it's 4th of July. Everyone's just trying.
6 hours of drinking in the hot sun with young kids, with some adults present. Okay, let's just get to that part real quick. Okay, before I think the part where he talks about how deep it is, it may be in here or the next one, but he does talk about older adults in this clip.
Kind of enjoy themselves, and it's a big party, basically, big party.
Yeah, so y'all pretty much having a good time.
Of
Just
course.
like anybody would imagine, 18-year-olds, probably
Right.
20-year-olds,
Right.
college students,
Right.
out on the island,
Right.
women. You probably had alcohol,
Of
so
course,
y'all having
yeah.
a good time.
Yeah, of course.
And so where's
Now probably had alcohol. Tatum, y'all see how I'm not even honing in on Tatum nonsense? We here on the facts only. Okay, but probably for them, but definitely for Nolan, right?
where's Nolan in this? You guys out there, the friend groups are out there, 3 boats full of people that came out there that seem to be the closest friend group.
Right.
Where's Nolan in this in comparison to where you and others are at?
Well, I had a couple conversations with Nolan that day, and I talked to him and a couple of my other buddies. They in a group. I was not focused on anyone solely, like looking and pointing anyone out, because there's so many people out there. I was talking to my friends that I haven't seen in a while from high school. I was talking from people I knew from college. I was talking to, everybody my age, and even people older than us.
Even people older than us were what? Even people older than us was what? Are y'all listening? Even people who are older. Give me my clip. Let me read why I was acting all weird. Hold on, I'm trying to. Even people who was older than us. Let's play that one more time. You know what was happening over here? It was older people there.
There's so many people out there. I was talking to my friends that I haven't seen in a while from high school. I was talking from people I knew from college. I was talking to, everybody my age, and even people older than us were, over there. It was just a regular thing. We're all used to this. We've been out to the islands before. My buddies don't just go out to the island on 4th of July, but they go out, every weekend. And I fish the islands. I don't just, fish around Horn Island. I fish around Ship Island too. So I'm very familiar with the islands. And I feel like it was just a big, I talked to Nolan, and, Nolan was drinking. Everybody was drinking, most of everybody. And Nolan seemed completely fine every time I talked to him. We had just regular conversations, and, Nolan was making me laugh. I had a couple conversations with Nolan and Javon, Nolan and my buddy James.
So remember, Javon was there throughout the event. And someone named James. You guys can put me up on James, okay? I'm putting some of y'all comments up there because I probably won't be able to get to it right now, but we're going to finish cook. So are we getting a little bit more details on the insight of what was happening that day, how things kind of set off, how many boats was there, what he was seeing? in detail the time he got there, which was probably around 10:30, 11 o'clock or so. Now we're going to move on into the next interview. And this is the interview, not a petition, but his second interview. And then we'll get into his friend interview. Okay. Thank you for being here. Let me know if the comments on the screen is a distraction, because we will take it off, because we need to make sure that we cook here. Okay. I need you guys to be focused. So I want y'all to be interactive, but then I want y'all to pay attention to this content. All right. So we'll put that up there in a second. I'm like a teacher. Okay. I just need us to be focused. Give me 1 second. We're going to be putting on the next one where we're going to cook on the next interview. Okay.
All right, so I want to be clear with this one thing, because I know you mentioned before. Is there any chance or any knowledge that you have that anybody deleted stuff from his phone?
I mean, Nolan was like a brother to me. Nolan.
So in this particular episode, if y'all have not seen it, some key things we're going to highlight is when Warren noticed the boat was sinking. What did he do? What time was it? We have to highlight it because we're going to cross-reference it to the CETO call, because according to my knowledge, the CETO call, I thought it was at 4 o'clock on the dot, but approximately it was 3:48. 3:48. Okay, just before we get to that, according to my finding, the distress call made from the boat in the Nolan Wells case was placed July 4th, approximately around 4 p.m. local time. Officials released track logs and records listing exact time of the call to the Marine Towing Service, CETO, at 3:48. In the audio, a teenager on the vessel reports that their bow pump fell and the boat is sinking, stating that everybody on board. However, the timeline remains heavily disputed, and that's what we're going to be talking about right now, is the timeline discrepancies.
Lit up every room he walked in. 4th of July, everybody was out there. Nolan rode out on the Triton, and then we had a Palm Beach, 18 Palm Beach. There was 4 guys on that. The rest of the group, which was ranged from maybe 10 to 15 or 16 people on my buddy's tide line.
Yeah, so y'all pretty much having a good time. And then you guys get
that tie bond is Bart's. Okay, let me remove Bart off the screen before his lawyer be mad as hell. Did we cook up Bart just a little bit to remind the lawyer of why Bart is actually being called out? Thank you, Warren, because nobody knew of Bart until we heard of Damit Bart
to leave prematurely,
right?
And like, what? Explain that, because you guys got there around 10.
Yeah,
it's now 4:30.
Right.
Now wait. Let me cook for a minute. This is further proof that all they did out there was fight. Because after he explains about his brother fight, that's what prompted him to want to leave. And then we watch the mixed kid interview. That's what prompted the mixed kid to leave. And the mixed kid actually leaves before this fight. Okay, several fights with adults on the island. You guys, I'm going to get to some of you comments. We're going to get to your comments. I need y'all guys to let me know, was the coach actually there? Because I didn't get a chance to pull any, facts behind that. But allegedly, it was said that the coach actually saw Nolan, talked to Nolan that day on the island, and he was good. My thing is, damn it, coach. You there and they all fighting and acting crazy. I know you ain't want to be there. Ain't no mindful adult in their right mind want to be around a bunch of teenagers fighting and drinking. And I would not be comfortable with 18-year-old, 19-year-olds drinking. The spirit of judgment be radiating off of me. I'll be sitting there just like this, sipping on my wine because I'm an adult looking at the shit. We gotta go. I gotta go. So let me know, was the coach actually there? Because we need to hone in on what adults was there that allowed this to happen. There's several fights between 11 and I'm going to say now 3 p.m., 3:30.
People are still out there partying and
Correct.
they're having a good time, but something happened to where it necessitated you guys to get the boat up and running. Can you explain that?
Yeah. So I had a girl come up to me and say, "Hey, your brother just got in a fight." And obviously I have a younger brother, and that's who she was talking about. And I was freaked out. So I walked over to the beach and I I didn't walk over. I ran over. I made a beeline. I didn't talk to anybody. Put my drink down and walked over there. And my brother was kind of angry, and there was a lot going on. But
Seesaw, I saw that last comment. He said, "I want to know why we are the only seeing people on the boat and not people who were there." So we are. What you saying? I want to know why we are the only ones that seeing the people on the boat. I feel you, because nobody else is talking about them. We have the other, just the sidebar, we have other content creators, other discreditors, big profile YouTube pages that's talking about everything but the facts. They're showing the picture of all these people, but they're not saying who's this, circling that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm with you, Seesaw. It's not weird. It's the concept that I always throw out to make it make sense to me. Justice or just us? You know what I'm saying? Figure out who us is for the moment. It could be all black people. It could be the white trash. It could be the people who just standing up against the system, who used to work for it. Which one are you? Pick which side. I'm just going to the sidebar. Okay, let's keep going, because I want the audience to understand that this is, to me, the way they're handling a racial-based issue, but it is a power-based issue. It is a them, us, a have and have nots. Remember, my Caucasian Americans, they did eugenics on you guys and treated y'all just like us. I just got to remind y'all, okay? Okay? The revolution will not be televised. Let's finish listening.
Someone was getting pulled away. I don't know who it was. And my brother was like, oh,
Back to his fight. If y'all didn't, because I started talking for a long time. This is his brother fight. And this is what prompted them to actually start to want to leave and notice that the boat was allegedly sinking.
Got in a fight, and this guy punched me in the face, and I punched him right back, and then went to the ground, and my brother put him in an armbar. And
was Nolan involved in any of this?
Absolutely not. When I was over
Okay,
there,
I'm sorry. I had to stop. I just got back live. I pushed the button. He's like, he punched me in the face, and I punched him right back. It was chaos. Who lives like this? Who lives like this? Jesus Christ.
a bunch of younger guys like my brother's age, and I mean, Nolan, I never saw Nolan over there.
Wow.
Absolutely not. And
I'm not gonna say it.
But okay, sorry, I just lost my train of thought.
So you get
Look, I lost my train of thought too. Warren. You know why? White on white crime. That's what y'all was doing, beating on each other. I just had to say it.
You get ready to go. There's an issue with the boat.
Okay, yeah.
And this is
well,
what
this led up to that. That's what I was saying.
So
okay.
the
liquor messed up his mind too, y'all.
fight happened with your brother, or a little scuffle. You know, I'm assuming that it was cleared up.
You're right.
You got your brother out of that situation, and then how did you find out that this boat is sinking?
Now he goes into some details about looking at the boat sinking. He goes into the battery, blah blah. We're gonna go back into that, but then I want you to come on. I'm gonna put it up there one more time so he could be mad at me. Hold on, because I'm just trying to figure out why somebody talking about they trying to sue people when you got my man right here keep calling Damit Bart. Now this is when he brings Bart name up again. Okay, let's go. Let's watch this real quick. Okay, I got the timestamps. I ain't playing with water today.
So I mean, we're all freaking out. All of our, we're not focused on anything else other than the boat. Well, then, eventually, my buddy Bart on the tide line is like, "I'm gonna pull y'all out to where we're out of all this, all."
So y'all hear where he talks about Bart in the beginning. This is at the beginning. So let's just go back where he's talking about the boat issues. I want to highlight that he talks about Bart being there at the beginning of the boat issues. So if the boat right there, when you got to the boat and you noticing that something's going on with the boat and Bart is there, okay? Bart is there. Why the hell did you call Cito at 4:00? How? I'm getting ahead of myself. How did Grandpa Jerry know to call to cancel Cito? I'm getting ahead of myself. Do you see what I'm saying? Damn it, Bart, you was there from the beginning. So all that cease and desist, don't say your name. You were there. This is what people do when they're asking questions. whatever. We've never denied a waste card in America. We're about to literally take y'all to the international realms and call genocide. Keep fucking around with Black America. I don't know why y'all think that we can't talk about the things y'all did to us. What the hell is wrong with you? Just cognitive dissonance. My thing to white America, you're gonna have to repent. It's no way that you do a whole bunch of negative stuff, evil, diabolical things, and nobody in your family have to repent. That's called generational curses. That's the spiritual realm. That's what God said. Even when he forgives you, the sins of you will fall on your kids. This is what the Bible said, until they repent and the curses is off your generational lines. So I know that you think you're in high positions and you could just say and do what you want, but you're not the creators of the world. You stole a lot of the things that you have control over. You lied and you manipulated to get in control. And right now you're in charge of destroying the planet. So I really think when you come to this platform right here, get a little humble, because I know history, baby, and I will take it back to biblical. We could get to genetics, anything you need to know to realize your position, because all of that tricknology doesn't work here. I'm going to tell the facts. And I don't mean to disintegrate my Caucasian brothers, but the way you come off is that no one could even really show you love and concern by the way you are. You cut babies out of our stomach, use our skin for shoes. Abraham Lincoln used his slaves' teeth. That's just the bare minimum of some of the things that your ancestors used to do that you don't want to talk about. Literally cut our skin, put molasses on our skin, and have us outside in the burning sun so the bees and the animals could get us and the dogs and things could piss on us. Let me start talking about history. Race card, what? What's in our DNA is in yours, and it's a whole lot of hate. So shut up when you on my damn live. That's why I don't look at the comment. Let's go. Yes, biblical. Go research that. All you have to say, if I don't give you a Bible verse, because I actually read Bible stories, be like, did God ever say this? And I promise you, Google will take you straight to all of the verses in the Bible verses. That's all you have to do. And Google's not racist, white America. I know you're starting to notice that Google and Chat GPT is telling y'all too much of the truth, but baby, you need to listen. Moving forward, I'm not looking at y'all comments because the racist people come in here and then I got to eat their food. To my other Caucasians, y'all know what it is. Y'all supposed to be from the bloodline of Shem if you actually know the Bible, but you chose to go on Mount Horus, some of your bloodline, and mix with the Horites and rebuke yourself from the covenant. Biblical. Okay, let's move forward. Back to Mr. Warren lying. Yeah, I'm going to have to do that. If you guys don't know, I'm not only not a Democrat or Republican, I'm a separatist, but I am a Hebrew from the tribe of Levi that knows spiritual war and everything. So we could talk about it. I'm correct.
The reason was because there were so many people getting on and off the boat, and at some point the boat was very, very crowded, and there was just a lot of people on.
So this is Warren actually talking about the battery issue, the boat issues, okay? So let's just listen to it a little bit more in detail, and he's going to talk about Bart pulling up on them, because Bart must have been following or something. Let's listen for a few minutes, and I'm going to shut my mouth, okay?
So that it drags water in, and eventually, I think over time, we were out there for a couple hours. The boat just started filling up with water. So I popped the starboard side hatch, and the battery was completely underwater. And so the motor wouldn't trim down. I mean, my buddy would go to trim it down from the console, and it'd trim down, and then it'd come right back up. And so Wyatt's trying to throw a rear anchor, so we're caught, and he's...
So these are some of the questions that I do need to ask y'all guys, though I don't get distracted for long, about the anchor situation, the battery being overflowed, being pushed down into the water, the trash in the bill. We're going to get to that in part 5. Okay. But again, I want you to listen to Bart names being brought up again so his lawyers can understand why we are talking about Bart. Okay. You can't get sued for slander when you're just letting Warren speak. Duh.
He's, yelling at people. Everybody's kind of freaking out. And eventually I'm like yelling at other people, trying to tell them, calm down. Like, the boat could possibly sink, and I'm not paying attention to everyone around me. I was paying attention to my buddy's boat. And that's what all my other friends that were on that boat were doing, trying to solve the problem.
So You're on the boat now. The water is getting up to the point where the boat may be disabled to where you couldn't get it out from Horn Island. So what happens after that?
Wyatt jumps to the water, tries to throw a rear anchor, and my buddy Meyer, you're sitting looking, trying to pull trash out the bilge. And the bilge is basically a pump that pulls the excess water out the boat. So the bilge was failing to work. So any excess water was just sitting in the boat. It wasn't getting pumped out. And I looked over the gunnel.
I'm going to let him get to the Bart part. And I think I have some information from a boating expert. Let's watch. I'm going to let this play, and then I'm going to find that.
I looked at the release hole for the bilge, and it was even with the water. So, I mean, we're all freaking out. All of our, we're not focused on anything else other than the boat. Well, then eventually my buddy Bart on the tide line is like, I'm going to pull y'all out to where we're out of all this, all this chaos. Because we left at 4:30 and there were still just as many people there, if not more.
So highlight this, write it down, take a picture. You know what it is. He said we left at 4:30. Write it down. Everybody who say we race baiting, I'm a victim, write it down, because we deal with facts here. Because if you ever in court with Grace Levi, I'm gonna eat your food. 4:30. Write it down.
When we got there, I mean, probably around the same amount. I mean, it was crazy. Like, there was a lot of people, and I mean, eventually, Bart pulls us out.
Bart pulls us out. Bart pulls us out. Defamation, my black booty. Okay, he said it, not me. So Bart was there from the beginning of when the incident happened. Shortly after, his brother had a fight. The Epstein kids out there wilding, the Allen boys out there fighting, and Bart trailed the boat. So what I'm thinking is, for the first few half a mile or part of that half a mile, they were moving very slow or something, and then all of a sudden at 4:30, you're going to see the mile per hours increase. And that's in the video that we're going to, not the video, the picture that I'm going to show you from the news broadcast, because it talks about the speed increasing at 4:30. Okay. Remember, the call was placed to Cito at 3:58, around 4 o'clock. This is from all the Google generated information that I have. No lie, no cap. How did he leave at 4:30? Defamation, my butt. Just lies, and more lies. And he should not have came out and told this story. I wish I was cross-examining him. I wish I was the prosecutor. We can tear him alive.
We left at 4:30, but we really weren't pulled out away from everybody. We were probably about a quarter mile out. And
so you left at 4:30. You didn't pull out from people that much, and you was about a quarter mile out. So the only way that this can make sense on another way is that they were standing there, the boat was sinking in that little bit of feet of water, and they called Cito there, and Grandpa was like, you don't need it, y'all good, Bart right there. And Bart started towing them from the dock slowly and letting the water out. I can't make it make sense, but I'm trying to, so it won't be no defamation here. I'm trying to see it every which way. It's just not making any sense.
We had the towing strap pulled from, Bart's port side cleat or starboard side cleat.
So we'll get Bart off of here real quick. And now what we're going to do is just replace it with Miss Ashley Cole, because there was a alleged call placed out to Miss Ashley from her stepson. Let's listen. We can just put him on the string because he talked too much. Okay. I think he says this coming up.
And he was on our starboard side bow. And so it was rubbing on his power pole. So Bart,
it's all this boat talk is driving me crazy.
It's not great. You got maybe one bar. It won't work that well. But once you get a little off the island, you have cell coverage. And even on the island, like I called my mom when we were on the island,
I called my mom. Is anybody listening when he said I called my mom? Which mom did he call? This mom or the other judge mom? When did you call my mom? Is this the reason why Miss Judge Ashley was able to make such a definitive statement about when the boys left because he called his mom? Could that have been around a time that something was going on between 3:30 and 4 o'clock? Where allegedly you're going to hear him talk about it, because he's going to get to it, where Miss Katie says it was around 3 o'clock. 3:30 last time they saw him. And then we're going to get to the mixed kid where he says the last time he saw Nolan was 3 o'clock. So that's why I say the timeline where something happened to Nolan was between 3 o'clock and 4 o'clock. God willing. And it may have been a fight. It may have been a fight. But let's just finish listening to a little bit more, and we're going to keep cooking on this case with facts. It's just facts here, okay? I'm just saying. It's hard to get defamation on Grace Levi because I ain't here to play, I'm here to slay, okay? I've been examined every which way, up and down, defamated, talked about. I had to know how to defend myself without putting myself in a bad situation. Y'all got the right one, baby. Let's go. Call me Little Haiti.
It was fine. Like we had enough cell coverage to make a phone call or shoot a text over, but you don't have.
You can shoot a text over. You can make a phone call. Yeah, he called Mama Ashley Cole. She's in part of this investigation. She's in part of the investigation. And I'm going to get to you. You said the FBI should be in charge anyway because this was a federal land. Thank you. Oh, you are so smart. I appreciate you, Rankin Knight, if I'm saying your name right. Let's reread it again because the chat is going. I got it on the screen. Here we go. Bear with me. It says, because it's federal land, this happened on. Mississippi should not be touching this anyway. The fact that they have a conflict of interest, you are 100% right. And I was going to bring that up when we kind of talk about the timeline and clarify who actually found Nolan Wells' body, because it was the National Park sheriff or worker who found it. And they tried to lie on Nancy Gray and say that it was the Cajun Navy. But you on task. Thank you. Yes, I do read the comment. I'm trying to glance at it. Thank you for putting something constructed up there, guys, because y'all know how Grace Levi is. I chop a little bit. I appreciate you.
Enough cell coverage to like send a picture, for example. So,
all right. So he called his mom. You listening to that?
What?
Let's move on.
So I want to go back.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I want to touch on that real quick because the phone thing came up at some point.
Okay. So now we're going to get to exactly. So what did he say? What did he say? Did y'all write the 4:30 down? Are y'all making your own timeline here? Please, because we would cross-examine, because part 5, I'm going to put the actual timeline that I'm putting up together, okay? So in this part where we go to, you're going to hear Warren say, the last time I saw Nolan was 3 o'clock. Okay? Let's listen. Let's just listen.
The Highland my whole life. I mean, that's just not something people do. People aren't on their phones. And everybody has their phone, yes, but it's always on the boat. No one's getting off the boat with their phone. So
you guys get ready to leave out of there, getting towed out.
Yeah.
And then where's Nolan in this situation?
Well, Nolan was, the last time I saw Nolan was 3 o'clock. And Nolan was cradling a girl in his arms, Katie. Katie. And Katie, Nolan was sitting there.
And this is when they basically, how can I say, incriminate Katie? I don't know if Katie is part of the in crowd or she halfway there, halfway not. Obviously, they know something about Katie that we don't know, because him and the mixed friend is like, hey, you with Katie? Allegedly. So they're trying to put the heat on Katie, but we're going to listen to what he says because there's a conflict of storyline
there. And the last time I saw him, I looked at Nolan, and Nolan was like shaking his head, laughing, and I was like, dude, you crazy. I was like just joking with him. And but anyway, Nolan, that was the last time I laid eyes on him. But when we were leaving,
did we miss that?
Katie, Katie and Kate, the Highland my whole life. I mean, that's just not something
we got to listen to that again, because I want y'all to hear the 3 o'clock part.
People do. People aren't on their phones, and everybody has their phone, yes, but it's always on the boat. No one's getting off the boat with their phone. So,
and so you guys get ready to leave out of there, getting towed out.
Yeah.
And then where's Nolan in this situation?
Well, Nolan was, the last time I saw Nolan was 3 o'clock. And Nolan.
Y'all see that? 3 o'clock. Come on, man. Why we gotta do this? First he said 4:30 they were getting towed out. And the last time he saw Nolan was 3 o'clock. So you mean that Nolan walked away from you? You didn't say he walked away, whatever. You just wasn't paying no mind to him. This is what he's trying to say. Let's just keep highlighting.
And Nolan was cradling a girl in his arms, Katie. Katie. And Katie, Nolan was sitting there, and the last time I saw him, I looked at Nolan, and Nolan was like shaking his head, laughing, and I was like, dude, you crazy. I was like just joking with him. And but anyway, Nolan, that was the last time I laid eyes on him. But when we were leaving, obviously, no one is getting left at the island that came with us unless they demanded to, be there and asked, this is.
Now, this is where the new storyline is coming about, where they're basically saying allegedly there was possibly a fight involving Nolan. And it can make sense because the way he describes this story, it's soft is hard. It's soft is hard. Get on the boat. Get on the boat, Nolan. Let's listen.
It's a very common thing at Horn Island. When you're out there, a lot of people ride out there with someone and in with somebody else all the time. I've done that 100 times. It's a very common thing. But Nolan was sitting by the boat with that Katie girl.
Nolan was sitting by the boat. He was sitting on the water, floating like Jesus with the Katie girl. I'm being sarcastic, y'all.
And my buddy yelled for Nolan. Nolan, get on the boat. We're leaving. The boat's having issues, and
this has to be standing water. This is right after his brother had a fight. They went over there and noticed it. This has to be in the 5-minute, 10-minute range. Nolan's floating on water at the side of the boat. He said, "Get on the boat, Nolan."
Like, no, he didn't say that, but he was panicking. Nolan, get the F on the boat. Get on the boat. And Nolan said, "No, I'm staying out here. I'm going to ride in with somebody else." And it's not uncommon to hear, but it's not like my buddy asked him one time. My buddy asked Nolan multiple times to get on the boat. Nolan, get on the boat. Get on the boat. We're leaving. If you're coming, you got to come now.
So we're going to talk like people who have common sense here. From the average person, let's say everybody purple. Just everybody purple. We ain't missing no colors here. Everybody purple. Your purple people on the boat. The boat's looking like it's having some distress. I came with you. My phone is on your boat. And y'all trying to get water out your boat, do something. And get on the boat. We having some issues. We got to get out of here. And I'm like, nah, I'm not coming. I'm just going to be here. Okay. I'm just going to be here. Just the average person with just all purple skin would know that just doesn't even make sense. Either Nolan is a complete jerk and not in so drunk that he don't realize his phone and his keys is in their possession, or there's a missing part to the story. Something is not right. Now you're going to hear where he even mixed the story up even more, and he tries to incriminate Katie, but he actually tells the statement of what Katie says. Last time I saw Nolan was when you guys was yelling at him.
And Nolan made a decision to stay out on the island. And like he said,
how many people heard that? Were there just,
at least
just a
5
few, or?
Everyone that was on.
At least 5 to 50,000. No, I'm just playing. At least 5 to 30. Let's say that, because we just talk about the boats that came with them. We know it was at least 3 boats packed of people. One had 10, one had 5. Just I'm being, sarcastic here. At least 25 people in that immediate area, highlighting the way they talked about the boats were set up. When they got there at 11, it was already 3 rows of boats coming in behind them. So they should be a little bit trapped in too. Have to maneuver to get going. We're just trying to get a scene of what's going on around here. Let's finish Let This Cook as he incriminate Miss Katie.
On our boat right there, because the Palm Beach had already left. My buddy went ahead and went home on the Palm Beach, and 3 guys on the way back. And
So that Palm Beach, I don't know if the Palm Beach was connected to the mixed kid, but we're gonna watch the mixed kid, the first few minutes of his interview where he highlights that he left early, okay, and that he was with Nolan and them all day long. He was with them all day long.
Nolan wasn't the only person to ride out there with us and in with somebody else. I mean, we had multiple people in our group that rode out and told him to get on the boat, and he decided to stay.
And I heard the girl that he was with, Katie, had text somebody that she heard people yelling
Correct.
for Nolan to get on it. Is that true?
And I have a picture of that. She texted my buddy, and the next day everybody was panicking and everybody's texting Katie, because she was obviously seen with Nolan the whole day at the island. Katie sent a message to my buddy the next day and said, this is the last time I saw him, he's really sweet. But she also mentioned that the last time she saw Nolan was when my buddy was yelling at him to get on the boat. And she was right there to see that Nolan decided not to.
Yeah, and so you guys get in the boat, you start to get towed in, and you make it back. Now explain.
I think, did he say Katie said 3 p.m.? That's where I kept getting 3 p.m. But listen to this. Let's just go back in one thing because I was talking a little bit. There's one particular part where you hear Warren pretty much say, we may have not told Nolan that the boat was sinking. Y'all gonna listen. I was like, huh? What?
Nolan was sitting by the boat with that Katie girl, and my buddy yelled for Nolan, get on the boat. We're leaving. The boat's having issues. And no, he didn't say that, but he was panicking. Nolan, get the F on the boat.
So he said the boat is having issues. Oh no, he didn't tell him that. He didn't say that. What? So you ain't telling that the boat's filling up and it's not obvious to Nolan. Now it's changing the storyline. That's what I'm saying. This guy is cooked. He shouldn't have did. I don't know what he do, but his brain is cooked. Okay, Warren, you got to do better. You too young for this. So he even mentioned that my buddy may have not told him that the boat was filling up. Y'all want to hear that one more time? That's the things that went over our head a little bit because we be thinking, we be in our emotions. Me too. The last live, I didn't hear some of this. That's why I went through it with a fine tooth comb this time.
Nolan was sitting by the boat with that Katie girl, and my buddy yelled for Nolan, get on the boat. We're leaving. The boat's having issues. And no, he didn't say that, but he was panicking. Nolan, get the F on the boat. Get on the boat. And Nolan said, no, I'm staying out here. I'm going to ride in with somebody else. And it's not uncommon to hear, but it's not like my buddy asked him one time. My buddy asked Nolan multiple times to get on the boat. Nolan, get on the boat. Get on the boat. We're leaving. If you're coming, you got to come now. And Nolan made a decision to stay out on the island. And like he said,
how many people heard that? Were there just
at least
just
5 everyone that was on our boat right there, because the Palm Beach had already left. My buddy went ahead and went home on the Palm Beach, and 3 guys on the way back. And Nolan wasn't the only person to ride out there with us.
I'm sorry, I'm making faces. I'm looking at stuff when I start. Okay, so I just wanted you guys to hear that the story kind of changed. First, he was like, get on the boat. We in trouble. We're both sinking. Nolan's being a douchebag. He said, well, my buddy may have not told him it was sinking. What? So maybe somebody got mad because he with Katie and just said, get the fuck on the boat. I don't know. This is allegedly. Something happened to make them say, get on the boat, get on the boat. But then he mentioned that he didn't tell Nolan that. That's so weird. Shout out to my favorite mod. Thank you for being here. Highly favored. You know what to do. Please, everybody can talk, but you know what to do because some of them be distracting me. Now, let's move forward. Okay, we got to that part. Let's see at this part. I think it's at 11:20. Got a little bit more to show you where he talks about a little bit of his situation with Nolan.
Yeah, and so you guys get in the boat. You start to get towed in, and you make it back. Now, explain how did you get to the point where you were concerned about Nolan? Because obviously you said, hey.
Okay, so this is where we're going to bridge into who's Jerry a little bit, not doxing or anything, but kind of bring up the factors around Wyatt's grandfather, as well as a little bit about the Cajun nation, not the Navy. I call them the Cajun Nation. I do have their report. I didn't get a chance to review it because we had a little blackout before this live. They thought I was going to do my research. I was researching on my phone. I was getting stuff together. Then the lights cut on like, and I got live. So I couldn't read the 22-page report, but I really think that page report probably... I'm going to leave it like that. All I'm going to say, TMZ and the Cajun Nation is working together. It's a little weird. So let's hear him talk a little bit about this part, which is going to bridge us into those two categories. Okay. Thank you for being here. We'll be here for 1 more hour. We're going to cook, y'all. It's my deep dive. We're going to do it once a week on Nolan and if things progress. Okay.
Nolan, y'all need to, or somebody, not
When
you,
did I get
but
to that point?
you guys that may mention Nolan need to get on boat.
Yeah.
He didn't.
Yeah.
You guys get back to wherever you're going.
Right.
Explain that. Did you guys go back to somebody's house, or you
Right.
guys like what happened there? And then when did you feel like, well, wait a minute, where's Nolan?
Right. Okay. Well, running in was very chaotic. I mean, Nolan chose to stay on the island, so my focus wasn't on anything else other than the boat, you know, because if the boat doesn't, we didn't just run straight to my buddy's grandparents' house. We ran into Fort Bayou. A couple of us jumped in the water, and Wyatt, like the whole reason for the stop was so Wyatt could hop in and put the plug back in the boat. So then after that, we went and docked it, and I went back to my buddy's house, and we ate and napped for a little bit. It was a long day at the island, so we were all tired.
So, in my opinion, his buddy house was Wyatt. That house possibly was the grandfather's house, Jerry. They went there, they docked the boat, they ate, they talked, they had to take a nap. Grandma and grandpa was like, y'all need to just relax, baby. It was a lot going on. Allegedly, I know your friend got hurt. I'm just playing. I'm not playing. I am. I'm just trying to lighten it up. That was a little cynical, but that's how some of these demonic people behave. The hill that has eyes, they be really nice and they be saying some really wicked stuff like, yeah, you killed them, but you need to eat this meal. That's not what they said, but let's just move forward. Just want to highlight that this is the next issue where another adult in the timeline before Miss Christine was made aware that her son was missing, knew something was going on. Jerry been knew. Because what we didn't highlight was the CETO call that we will highlight, that we do have. Okay.
We were all tired, and eventually we go over to a girlfriend of mine. She was having people over for 4th of July. We were doing like fireworks and stuff. And we didn't just run straight to my buddy's grandparents' house. We ran into Fort Bayou. A couple of us jumped in the water, and Wyatt, like the whole reason for the stop was so Wyatt could hop in and put the plug back in the boat. So then after that, we went and docked it, and I went back to my buddy's house, and we ate and, napped for a little bit. It was a long day at the island, so, we were all tired. And eventually we go over to a girlfriend of mine. She was having people over for 4th of July. We were doing like fireworks and stuff. So we all went over there to swim and, hang out. And
So we're going to stop right there, because when I get a little bit more into Jerry and his part, I think I'll start with that on in. Now, I want to add more to this robust timeline first before we move on to Jerry, Grandpa Jerry, and the call and things like that. Let's listen to the mixed friend. I don't know his name. That's why I keep calling him the mixed friend. Okay. We're just going to listen to a few minutes of his interview, and I want you to hear some stuff, because again, you're going to hear some degrees of separation in the way he talked. My buddy. You see what I'm saying? And it's just a little weird for me. Hold on. Let me make sure I have it. Is this him? Because his thing was 45 minutes. I couldn't do that.
Do you have anything to do with Nolan's death?
No.
Do you have personal knowledge of someone directly in your friend group having anything to do with Nolan's death?
No, not at all.
So I saw you on television. You had an interview, and I felt like you laid out a few things that I think the world needs to know and be clear about.
Okay.
And the first one is the relationship that you had with Nolan. Can you explain your relationship with Nolan?
Okay. So we're
Yeah,
gonna pause it right here because this comment relates to, I believe, this scene. It was another friend, uncle, who was shouting for the friend to get back on the boat after they was involved in the fight. Exactly. So the context of the fight of him right here, we talked about it in the last live. He was fighting with his girlfriend, possibly domestic violence. Now in this live, he didn't say, "Oh, my girlfriend took my phone and we was arguing." So for him to replace himself and say he was the one saying, "Give me back my phone," and then you listen to the way he described what happened with his fight. He just literally said his uncle was like, "Get on the boat, get on the boat. You too wild, you out of control. It's over, it's over." Then he didn't say anything about somebody having his phone or anything. So thank you, Perry, for bringing it up. You have perfect timing. Let's just watch this together.
So his mom got on TV, as everybody has seen, and said that she didn't know me.
Now, listen to this minute because it's going to kind of tell you the connection, the loose connection between him and Nolan, which I think is a school connection. They like, they're in the same class. They got work to do. Like I had a friend in one of my math class that we used to just get down in calculus because we was geeks, but we wasn't close outside of calculus. Do you see what I'm saying? But if things was happening, like I'm gonna be honest, this tell you one thing. So where me and her got close was outside of calculus. I got into a fight. This boy was trying to fight me, and me and her jumped him, and we became friends. So I'm just throwing that out there. Back in the day, that was a long time ago. The school relationships can be tightly wound or loosely associated. So I think it's a lot of loose associations here and some tightly wound association between certain individuals. But I don't think Nolan was tightly wound with all of the people that he was in the boat with, honestly. But that's my opinion.
And man, that can't be farthest from the truth. Me and Nolan, I met Nolan in 9th grade in a second block class. It was math. He was
What a coincidence.
he was one of the first guys I made friends with. It was somebody I made a connection to. Like off rip, he was an athlete. I could tell he was an athlete when I walked into class. We sat really close to each other. And all he did, he turned around and asked me for a pencil when I first met him in 9th grade when I moved to Ocean Springs. Man, it was tough, and the relationship there has always been a best friend in my eyes. I never wanted to take away how close somebody else was with Nolan, but Nolan was my best friend. That was
everybody best friends. That's just weird. That's just a lot.
a guy I knew I could call at any point in time. He called me at 11 o'clock on the 4th to see where I was parked at. Man, me and Nolan have countless nights.
Okay. Did y'all hear that? So he called them on that day to see where he was parked at. Did he say the time? My brain was thinking too much. Let me just go back just a second. Because the time I heard when I was recording this was around 10 a.m. Timeline. This is when he got there. And then we're going to hear how he got there and, his uncle and everything.
Giving me advice on my girlfriend, on my life in general. Nolan has been the only friend, and I love my friends and my best friends in this group of guys, but Nolan has been the only person that ever told me, like, he's proud of what I've done. He's proud of
Nolan was the only one that told you he is proud of you. That's why you feel a little guilty, because he's probably more sincere than everybody, because if you heard throughout Warren's, communication, he said, we don't take nothing serious. We laugh at everything, and some shit is not to laugh at. That's why I don't mess around with people. I don't do play fighting. I don't do none of that. Some of this stuff I don't play with. I take things a little serious. So with that goes to say that a loose association with that mentality, it doesn't work right for me.
how hard I worked. He's proud of me going overseas to go play ball. That was my guy. Like, that was my best friend.
Yeah, and so how does it make...
Especially about our friend group.
So let's talk about, he's talking about the friend group. Then he's going to go into basically they begged him to go with them, but he had to go with his uncle. They begged him. I think he was like the side, just kind of a little bit further than where they kept Nolan, in my opinion.
Yeah, I find it, especially after talking to you, meeting some of the guys, that it seems like there was an agenda. But can you walk us through just your perspective from that day? I don't know if did you go with them initially? Were you a part of the group that went to Horn Island?
So I wasn't, no, clear that up. No, I was not on the boat with them. Yes, I was a part of the group that was supposed to go out. So the only reason why I did not go on the boat is I was offered, I got begged to go, but my uncle, we also took 12 people out on our boat, not including us two, so 14. And my uncle knows the passengers wouldn't have helped. Generally wouldn't have helped with anything. With that many people on a boat, you need a little bit of help. So my uncle was like, hey, can you just ride out with me and you can go do your thing throughout the day on the island? I don't care. I don't need you. I just need
Now, this is the second time where we're hearing some rules, some regulations, guys. Y'all know I like evidence-based practice. Second time. Can you ride with me? We need someone who's designated. I need some help. We need to make sure everybody is safe. His uncle wanted him to ride on his boat so he could be safe. Then they allegedly called Damit Bart so they can be safe and bring more people along. And it seemed like Damit Bart was more accustomed to, issues or handling issues out in the boat. Why I say that? Because allegedly Damit Bart did the tow. And in my opinion, I'm thinking that possibly Grandpa called Bart or Bart called Grandpa. And that's the only logical reason why I would think that why his grandpa would stop that tow unless he just don't give a damn about his grandkid. I'm jumping ahead, but I'm trying to make it make sense. So let's finish listening to what he was saying as far as safety, the things they were doing that day. It's some key things we should pay attention to.
need help get out there and then pick everything up. Because I know all these people are going to be drunk and they're not going to want to do the extras that nobody sees about going
everybody.
Out on the boat, right? And so I told Wyatt that, and oops, my bad. But I told him, I told him that, and I told him everything, which was go to plan. We were leaving a little bit earlier than them. We were going to have.
So listen to this. Wyatt said listen. Warren said key timeline. I left at 4:30. Last time I saw Nolan was 3 o'clock. Y'all wrote that down on y'all timeline. Now y'all gonna listen to him talk about the last time he saw Nolan too, and that was just before he had a fight.
I was gonna try to have a spot saved out.
Now wait, before we get there, he's talking about the spot. He's talking about getting there early. The spot that he has for them. Okay, so you could get a visual of what it was looking like and where they were parked when the boat was allegedly sinking at first.
And Nolan calls me at 11 o'clock. I missed his phone call. Called me twice. I missed both of them. I saw Wyatt and Nolan on the boat. They pulled right in front of our boat, and they were screaming. I turned my head, and I was like, yo, there's a spot over there, where they end up anchoring out. I helped them set their stern anchor. From the time they showed up until now, going back to it, 20 minutes before they left, I was with them.
He was with them all day. So he's the one too could fill in the timeline between 11 to 3 o'clock, the fighting and all that. So we already know that Warren's brother, the judge's son, was fighting. Warren came in, got punched in the face, fighting, bar fight. That's what y'all do? Shit, y'all talk about black on black crime. We don't go there to fight. We go to dance, have fun. Y'all be tripping. Now, he got into a fight, another fight. That's what we're going to listen to next. The fight.
2 hours with. I spent all day with him.
So I talked a lot just now, but he just said that he spent all day with Nolan and the boys. So he would know if it was any conflict, anything going on. But everybody was probably talking about Katie and Nolan because he walked by Nolan and Warren walked by Nolan like, yeah, Katie, you gotta.
Over there, where they end up anchoring out. I helped them set their stern anchor.
And then Wyatt got mad and said, get your ass on the boat. I'm sorry, y'all. I just had to throw that in there. Don't pay my money. Allegedly.
From the time they showed up until now, going back to it, 20 minutes before they left, I was with them. That's who I was with.
So this guy, I think I have the part where he says, I don't know if he gave the exact time, but he had to leave before the time Katie said that she saw Nolan and the time that Warren said around 3 o'clock. You see how he changed. This guy said he left about 20 minutes before they left. So I'm thinking he left at 2:30 or something. This is what I'm thinking. It's the timeline that I'm putting together from what they're saying. Okay. We didn't even get the date of the boats in yet, but they're going to coincide.
I spent all day with them, minus the morning time before they got out there. But from the time they got out there to the time they went back in, I was with them. Those are my friends, man. Those are my guys.
Yeah, I want to get a few more details.
I'm sorry about that.
I know that. Yeah, go ahead. I know that
This is
you were
fight.
all over the news because there was a perceived fight. People, this is the thing that gets me, and I want to clarify this. When I saw the video that they put out on the internet claiming that Nolan was saying, "Give me my effing phone back," the coach came out, Nolan's coach came out and said immediately he knew it wasn't Nolan's voice.
So my thing again, in that particular situation is weird. The coach is coming out and saying that's not Nolan's voice, but mom never comes out and dad never comes out and say that's Nolan's voice or it's not. That's where I want to hear. And that's where people lost a little bit of credibility with Crump because they're saying that that wasn't Nolan. But honestly, that their friends is not the all tell all. The person who birthed him should be able to tell. And since she didn't contest that and she allowed it to be pushed through, I think she thinks it sounds like her baby. That's my opinion. I have that clip to play you guys after this. Let's see how much more I got to show you. But I have that clip as well.
And obviously it wasn't Nolan's voice because you were the one that was
me yelling,
in there.
So let me see. Let's replace it and play that clip real quick. Let's see. Give me a second. We'll play that clip and we'll get back to this Tatum interview. Y'all know what we do here. Let's see. Let me make sure that I have it. There we go.
Obvious contradiction. And then this video of this, you can hear an argument going where Nolan is saying, "Give me my freaking phone. What are you freaking doing?" And so then his phone ends up missing.
All right, so this video here has been floating around on social media. Warren and his stepmother both stated that his last time seeing Nolan was around 3 p.m. The person that posted this video said that this took place around 4 p.m.-ish.
Around 4 p.m.-ish, right? I think before that call was made, some type of argument or altercation happened with Nolan. I think this is a real clip.
You can hear altercation going on, and I believe that this is the one that Attorney Ben Crump is referencing. You kind of gotta like really listen in that video, and I guess somebody that knows Nolan's voice will be able to recognize it. So I'm not sure if that's the one they talking about. That's the only video I've seen where you can tell it's an altercation. Y'all let me know in the comments.
Also,
I don't know any teenagers, Michael Strahan, who says...
Also, I want to show you another clip, I think, of some other information that was sent to mom. Mystery girl sends Nolan mom a picture after. Let's look at this right here.
That was taken on that day, specifically the one with all three of them. Whenever I had made the post asking for information, there was a young girl who reached out to me and she said, "Hey, Miss Christine, I know that in the report it's stating that he had black shorts on, but she was like, he actually had blue shorts."
So this is important because this is the account of what Nolan had on. Now, I want to know how many pair of shorts he had on, because when you look at the Tatum video at the beginning when they was leaving, it looked like he had some like tan or green, some light type of color, not blue, if that was Nolan who we saw. in the clip that Tatum was showing. Y'all have to look at that. So when you guys are looking at the pictures, just look at what Mom said he was wearing. At least Mom knew one of the shorts he was wearing. And I don't know about that Officer Tatum picture, but we'll just move forward.
Blue shorts. And those are two meeting that he had black shorts on, but she was like, he actually had blue shorts. And those are two very different colors. Like, you can't get those two confused. And so what she did is she's like, I'm going to send you these pictures to show you, so I could use to show everybody, like, this is actually the color of the shorts he was wearing, because she was concerned too
So they had sent those photos to her, or had they?
No, these are pictures that she took. No, she took the pictures.
Okay, so she was.
Yeah, she took those herself, and she sent them to me.
She was out there.
Yeah, she was out there.
Okay, so we're just going to get back to a little bit more of, I keep calling him the mixed kid. Guys, throw his name up there so I can stop calling him the mixed kid. And we're going to get to that part where he talks about his fight, the uncle calling him. And then he's going to talk about his call that he got from Warren at 11:20 p.m. And we're going to get a little bit into Bart again. We're going to just highlight these things, okay? I didn't watch the whole 45 minutes.
Do you have anything to do with Nolan's death?
Bit of clips. I was able to get a lot of information. Bear with me. They keep on doing weird stuff, but we got this, okay? Hit the like button. Thank you. I want to say thank you for being with me. And please hit the like button if you like what I'm sharing, because we're keeping our eyes on the facts, okay? Shout out to all the content creators who's bringing this information, and I'm able to review it and put it in a comprehensive timeline. That's the only thing that I'm doing. I'm looking at everybody's stuff. I'm pulling out the most credible things that I feel could be traced, used in the court of law, and questioned. Okay, that's what we presented to you. So this is him talking about his uncle yelling at him.
Those are my friends, man. Those are my guys.
Yeah, I want to get a few more details.
I'm sorry about that.
I know that. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, 10.
I know that
clock.
You were all over the news because there was a perceived fight. People, this is the thing that gets me, and I want to keep you clarify this. When I saw the video that they put out on the internet claiming that Nolan was saying, "Give me my effing phone back," the coach came out. Nolan's coach came out and said immediately he knew it wasn't Nolan's voice. And obviously it wasn't Nolan's voice because you were the one that was
me yelling,
in there yelling. You got into an altercation with somebody. What happened after that? Like, put me in your place where the fight is over, whatever happened. Nolan is somewhere, you're somewhere, you're hanging out. And when was the last time that you saw Nolan before you left?
And you're going to hear the time that he says here. Doc this time on your timeline, okay? We're creating a real timeline from eyewitnesses, and this is all we have in true data that we can use.
So after the fight, I didn't stay on Horror Island much longer. So the objective, I was really upset. So with you hear me yelling, my uncle had told me to get on the boat and wouldn't let me back off the boat. Obviously, I was really mad and I wanted to fight, wanted to get what wasn't smart, man. Mm-hmm. And so I was on the boat, I'm yelling, and shortly after that, I left the island. I left probably 30 to 45 minutes after I got into a fight. We started to pack up and left because I was so upset. As Javon mentions, that they were ready to get me back to land because I was really mad. I was genuinely really mad.
No self-control, can't calm down. It's adults there and they still can't calm him down. Now remember, guys, all I'm doing is presenting what they say. And we're stopping and we're highlighting it and putting in a timeline. So these are not my facts. These are the facts. Okay.
But the last time I saw Nolan, I was walking to the boat. This was before the fight. It's me and my old lady. We had just got out of a group of people. Nolan was walking towards Wyatt's boat. I was walking in the opposite direction towards my boat. And I dabbed Nolan up. I made a slick comment about something. Actually about the girl that he was with. I made a slick comment to him, us joking around, and I kept going. And not even 10 minutes after that is when I got into a fight. Last thing I told Nolan was, all right, buddy, I love you. See you later. And I'm glad I said it.
Let's get to this.
And I'm half awake and pick up the phone.
This is when he gets the phone call from
So you leave the
Warren.
island. Did you have any?
I'd been on the boat all day. I didn't feel like going to party anymore. I went to bed. So I got my first phone call about 9:20, and I didn't wake up again until a little after 11 o'clock. And that was to my brother coming in the room being like, hey, Warren's trying to get a hold of you. You need to answer the phone.
So at this point is Warren and this allegedly Damit Bart that's trying to get in contact with him as though he had something to do with it for some apparent reason. I don't know.
They're looking for Nolan. And I'm half awake and pick up the phone. And by this time, nobody had came to the house to grab anything. And Warren gets on the phone and he's just like, hey man, he was like, hey, have you talked to Nolan? Anything else? I was like, no, I haven't talked to him, man. He was with that girl last time I knew. And he was like, okay. He was like, man, we can't get a hold of him. We don't know where he's at. And I was like, man, it's Nolan. He's probably just out somewhere with that girl. Like, get a hold of the girl, you'll probably find Nolan.
And that's the first thing I would have thought. Why are you calling the people who you obviously know he left early? So what you calling him for? Okay? It just didn't make sense. And then you called Javon. The only reason why I can say he called Javon because he's not totally connected. And I'm talking about Warren or Wyatt or none of them to Nolan. And they had to get his mother's number. That was the only logical sense of them calling Javon first.
It's no big deal. And he was like, all right. He was like, but we're starting to freak out. We're getting on the phone with Coast Guard. I was like, okay. And at that time, he had already talked to his mom, Nolan's mom. And he was getting on the phone with the Coast Guard. And I need to be specific about this. I did not call Warren's phone. I called another one of our buddies' phone, and it was on speakerphone. They were all together. I was talking on my other
that
buddy's
buddy
phone.
is Damit Bart, allegedly. Let's put that right there, while he's talking about it.
I'm talking to Warren. He was dialing Coast Guard because he hung up the phone and was like, hey, this is them, bye, and hung up the phone. And that was.
And we're going to stop right there because that's a long live. Now we're going to get to some of the phone calls, the Coast Guard, CETO. We're going to listen to that. And we're going to cook a little bit more. Thank you for being here with Miss Grace. Let me know, am I making sense to you guys? I'm not here just to show anything. And let's put this up here before we move on from Damit Bart, so you could just hear what his lawyer had to say, because guess what? Whatever y'all feel, I'll cook on Bart as long as his name is mentioned. I'm going to highlight how his name was mentioned. No cap. Let's play that real quick.
An alleged enhanced audio of the CETO call that purports to have a background conversation that is suggested sounds like people explaining the murder of Nolan. What is the legitimacy of the audio? The word Bart is in there, and I know real people with real platforms are pointing the finger at your client.
Yeah, so we don't see any legitimacy in a doctored transcript or a doctored audio that comes with a transcript, which is.
Hold on. Did this clip mess up on me? Hold on. I thought I had more of what Damit Bart was talking about, his lawyer, but we'll move on real quick. Let me just see, can I add the CETO call now, and we're going to listen to it. We're going to cook on it. And this is the other reason why Bart's name is being mentioned. There we go. Let's play this one. This one. Now we're playing the regular CETO call. We already know the enhanced version, and I will highlight, no matter what color, creed, or who they was, they still didn't discredit Miss Jeanette for the work she did. And again, Miss Nancy Gray, if she's I keep calling her Nancy Gray. Nancy Gray, you're getting old. Miss Nancy Grace, if she's credible to you guys, because y'all like, Nancy Grace is on it. She has even said that the the enhanced version of what happened in the first few seconds is real. She got her people to do it. So let's cook on that. Okay. And by the end of this live, we're going to kind of talk about how they will possibly present this to the grand jury, because I'm like, what y'all about to present? Just the autopsy? Because you're not telling us nothing. But let's listen to the total CETO call, because that's going to bring us into Grandpa and them, and Grandpa pretty much being a witness, being involved in something. Okay.
CETO assistant, Vicky.
Now I'm gonna tell you, no matter with no enhancement, I heard, oh my God, and I hear Nolan, and yeah, that right there bothers me.
How can I help you?
Hey, we're at the west tip of Horn, and our bilge pump stopped working. We're sinking. Can y'all please come? We have a membership.
All right, of course. How far is the water coming up, sir? Can you give me a description? Ankles?
Just kids, just wild. They just wild. Now y'all imagine them kids be having like those takeovers that's happening. Yo, that's they takeover. This is disgusting. I'm sorry, just a bunch of teenagers acting wild. I don't play this type of stuff. Let me get out of mama mode.
What'd you say? Hey.
Yes. How far is the water coming up, sir?
It's coming up. We're just sinking. I don't know. Like we're going down now.
All right. Well, let's get you going. Membership number or phone number listed on the account, sir.
I don't know the phone number. It's either. I think it's. Try that.
Now it's Jerry information, and my thing was like, how did Jerry get to, basically stop them from going to render help? One, because CETO is a personal private company, so they may not be held to the same standards of responding the way like the National Guard will respond. Like I said, National Guard, you're gonna be in trouble. But that sea captain may be a private service. Why he was able to say, all right, let me just talk to them because Grandpa said no. So what we do know is that the call for help went out around 3:58, 4 p.m. This is when it's happening, in contradiction to what Mr. Warren is saying 4:30. Then he says the last time he saw Nolan was 3. And also you just heard his mixed friend say the last time he saw Nolan was 3. But you saw him at 3, and that was before you had the fight. Like, how did that all happen at one time? It took a little bit of time for that fight to happen. So it's weird, but we have to put these facts out here. So the call for help, Wyatt called CETO to report the boat pump had failed and that the vessel was sinking in 17 to 31 feet of water. Now, member verification, because the teenager did not know the exact count number, the CETO dispatcher had to look up the membership base number for the Triton and reach out to the primary account holder. This is like the chain events that they supposed to do, but obviously us listening to this, we know she didn't have time to go call account owner and the account owner be on the phone with the captain and tell him not to go. But this is something like what's supposed to happen versus what happened. The grandfather intervention, according to CETO captain statement to the dispatch, the grandfather stated that he had already spoken to the teenagers. He explicitly advised the captain that CETO was no longer needed because a private help was already obtained. Bart was on the side of that boat since they left. So why did you call CETO for? Was it, and this is allegedly, when I say allegedly, that's my opinion. Was it because something was happening and it was part of a cover-up? Because we already know that Warren said that he spoke to a mindful adult, which was his mother, while he was on Horn Island. And he mentioned talking to his mother probably at or around or after the time his brother had a fight, because that's the time he brought up talking to his mother. So I would think that that was the time it jogged his memory. Like, I call my mom too, because he never said earlier, like when they were talking about phone service and everything, like, yeah, I called my mom several times. Everybody could call. The time that Warren brought that up is when they were talking about the boat. I mean, about after the fight. So look at the time frame of him mentioning that, and that's what makes me think that allegedly Miss Ashley probably knows more, and that's why she was so comfortable to make a statement and say, "No, my son was out of here by 4:30," because you was allegedly possibly on the phone with them. Okay, so that's where the public suspicion enhanced. I'm going to let y'all listen a little bit more of the dispatch call, but I wanted to add some more context to this situation so we can cook on it.
All right.
I know we have a membership like guaranteed. I don't
All
have the
right.
tag on
Unless you
here.
have a
It got ripped
membership
off.
number or anything, it's okay. I'll get you over to the captain. What's the best phone number to reach you at?
Reach me at 2.
All right, so
All right. And is everybody
further, because again, all of this call is one timeline, and you're going to hear the captain, you're going to hear her flip back to go talk to the boys, and the boys not there.
Okay, thank you.
Let's see.
This is Captain Seth.
Hi, Captain Seth. This is Vicky from International. How you doing today?
Doing good. How are you?
Good, good. I apologize ahead of time. I really do. You're going to have a fee for service come up under...
Okay.
It sounds like a bunch of kids on board on Horn Island. He's letting me know that his father's a member, but he can't give me any information. And he's saying the boat is sinking, and he's on Horn Island. It's just unfortunate. He's just a kid. There's a lot going on. So
Right.
he said there's about a lot of people on board. He says he thinks about 7. I'm guessing they're all under 18.
Okay.
And I'm not trying to be rude. He wants you guys to go out there and unpump the boat and then tow it in.
Do you know what kind of boat it is?
He said a Triton 24-footer, but that's all he can give me.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I just actually got off the phone with his grandpa, so I'm guessing is the owner of the boat. And
Y'all sound like y'all from Georgia, Grandpa. I'm sorry, y'all.
yeah, he said,
okay.
I just hung up with him. He said that they don't need any help right now, but if something changes, he'll call me back. So
The investigators should be severely alarmed about this time frame real quick, right here. If anything that I mentioned to y'all don't mean nothing, they should be severely alarmed at this time frame. How did a call for distress come in? They click over, call the captain while they're on the phone. He says, "Oh, I talked to Grandpa. Da da da. We don't need to." Click over to the boys, and he like, no. Matter of fact, yeah, she clicks over to the boys, and the boys are not there, and because he wants to talk to them, the captain. How does this happen? And my thing is, why call Cito when you already had a mindful adult there? And I'm gonna put it one more time because you could call defamation. They had a mindful adult, Bart. And we're gonna talk about the possible presentation to the grand jury, okay? Because if it's not one, it should be all, okay? That should be in trouble for what's going on. Okay, so that's a little bit with the CETO. Let's remove that. Now, the reason why I say that it should be all, because y'all know that it's like a law that if you are involved in a felony or misdemeanor, now I don't know if it's in Mississippi, but it's showing up in Georgia and Florida, and they capturing our black sons like whatever. If you with someone and you're committing a felony or misdemeanor or whatever, and they die, it don't matter if you did it, if the cops did it, if it was an accident, everybody involved should be facing some charges. I.e., sidebar, this week we will be cooking on the Carmelo Anthony case and the appeal that's coming up. I truly believe that every last child that was involved in that fight, harnessing the fight, covering the fight, they all should be in jail, just like they do to our black sons who's involved in incidents. I know a few who were involved in their friends being killed by the police. Shout out to one of my best friends. Her son right now is facing 20 years. Matter of fact, they're trying to give him 20 years for a maximum sentence that can only be 10. Justice or just us. Try to make him cop to that when his friend was murdered by the cops in Florida. And this is happening now in real time. So that's why I think everybody involved in this, these kids, these parents, and everybody should be going to jail too. Okay. So yeah, if you like this title, hit the like button. Who called the judge? And damn it, Bart. Now, what we're gonna move on into is I just want to show y'all, but we're not going. This is gonna be. I'm telling you, I'm ready for part 5, but we already into hour 2, and I'm not going past 3 hours. Only for Nolan Wells would I cook this daggone long, baby, because that's a lot of hours. But I do have a copy of the Cajun Navy report. I'm gonna go through it, not tonight, but we're gonna go through the most key important parts, and I'm gonna keep it moving. I'm just gonna let y'all know. That's it. I'm not gonna discriminate. I'm not gonna say anything, but big baby, I'm not beat. While I get to a little bit of kind of like what's supposed to be expected on Horn Island and the rules, we're going to just show you a clip from Cold Case Watch Central, where she highlights the grandpa home camera allegedly went dark just because we were talking about grandpa. And this is when I say allegedly. Obviously, you know, Grace Levi ain't gonna lie. I would say allegedly because I don't know where the truth and fact come for this, but I'm gonna let her cook. I'm gonna let her cook on the information she had until we can find out if it's not credible. Let's watch this real quick. Hold on. Okay. She says a lot about Horn Island.
To her, and it works with her data.
Y'all ready for today's Nolan Wells info drop? So first off, we remember these GPS coordinates that were plotted for us, remember? Those GPS coordinates were taken from Wyatt's boat and they were plugged into Google Earth and they developed a PowerPoint slide that we saw there that mapped out all of the points. So I decided to overlay those Google points on top of the points of the research that I'd already been doing. I discovered some interesting stuff because if they were just overlaying it on Google Earth, it should have been easy as cake, right? Well, I cannot tell you how many hours I spent trying to perfectly overlay this. Like, look at the islands in the middle here. I get them lined up and then other things won't match up. Like you'll notice, like I said, these islands, look, they aren't moving, but everything else around it isn't working. So right away, my instincts are telling me that somebody manipulated this image to cover something up. Of course, that is alleged. I can't prove that, but you know, it's supposed to just overlay. So honestly, I just did the best I could, and I mostly just focused on the top half, trying to get like the marina and the grandparents' house they went to all line up. So now we can really follow which way this boat was driving and the kind of stops it seemed to be making. And if you'll notice here, it goes right next to that marina that I was telling you guys about with the Marty McGrath, which is who, according to Katie, that she got a ride from. So they passed the marina, and as you can see, it juts out almost like it was pulling up to this dock. And then there's these two houses here, especially this house, where it seems like the boat pulled into the docks there. Then it went all the way down here. There's a little like lock area here, so you have to go through here. And it went to the bridge. And I was like, why did they go all the way to the bridge to turn around? But it turns out right here is a big old fishing pier. Then right next to that is the Ocean Springs Yacht Club. And a lot of these families
we're going to stop right there. A lot of the families go to the yacht club. So this is Cold Case Watch Central. I'm going to leave their link at the bottom because they did a good job putting this video together. I'm going to give them all the credit, but I wanted to get y'all to start cooking on that information because on part 5 of our Nolan Wells deep dive, we're going to be getting into the GPS data again with more detail. Obviously, y'all see I hit it with a fine-tooth comb. Even if I don't understand about the subject matter in its totality, I am willing to go research to get the most credible information to share with you. So we're going to go over the GPS data one more time. We're going to go over the boat issues again. And we have some other commentary behind that because I'm not a boat expert. And we're going to go over the outline of the island. Okay, now before we go leave for this evening, we're going to hit 2 major things before we get up out of here. Maybe I ain't doing 3 hours like I did, but let me know if y'all like what we're doing here, and I'll spend the last 5-10 minutes getting to the best comments here. Okay, be nice to Grace so I don't have to go off like a Levi. Y'all know we ain't got no behavior. Haitians, we get loud. Come on, let me be nice. So Now, this is where we're going to bring more detail and truth to power when we talk about this in part 5, the strict wilderness rules. Now, I want to clarify because Miss Nancy Gray, shout out to Nancy Gray. Oh, before we go, I got a sidebar conversation. One of my last, I always say my last contract. One of my worst contracts was in Coliseum Hospital in Macon, Georgia. Y'all need to look this up. There was a active shooter that took place around January, February 2 years ago. That was before my uncle died, and I was in the ICU, and I was directly above the active shooter situation. Point taken. We're not going to go back and cook on my traumas. But while I was on that unit, I met a nurse. Her name was Nancy something. And we was talking, we was massive cool. She Caucasian, we was cool as hell. She was so nice. She said Nancy Grace was her cousin. And she was like, Nancy, what she say? I was like, do you talk to Nancy? She was like, no, we don't really talk a lot because, you know, she basically, I don't know, she said Nancy act like she's bigger than them. But I did meet a cousin of Nancy Grace. That's my name, Grace. That's why I want to call her Grace. I'm sorry, Nancy Grace. I met your cousin. She's a PCU ICU nurse at Coliseum. So with that goes to say, this is destined. Moving forward, that was just sidebar, guys. Go look up that active shooter in Coliseum. I ain't lying, girl. I survived that, and I was doing CPR for like 45 minutes. All right, boom. Now let's get to the rules and regulations of what's supposed to happen in the park. Now, why I bring up Nancy Gray is because she said, which wasn't a true statement, that the Cajun Nation, U.S. Cajun Navy, found Nolan, in which they did not. Everybody knows that who found him was the National Park Service that found him. So this is why that statement that was brought up, I don't have your name, but I should have pinned it where you said that this should be a federal investigation because where it happened at, you daggone freaking right. It shouldn't even been a question on top of all of the bias. But let's get to the strict wilderness rules on Horn Island. No facilities or staff. There is no drinking water, no shelter. Now, there's not rules, but this is kind of what's going on as well. No shelter, no public restrooms. What? I'm bougie. I know y'all using the bathroom with that dirty water. Oh my goodness. I'll never step foot in that water. Oh, I'm so bougie. Y'all talk about Haitians. I'm bougie. We bougie. That's nasty. Okay, no public restrooms. There's no permanent staff that is actually on the island 24 hours. Visitors must pack everything they need to participate in recreational activities. They have little to no communication infrastructure, but obviously there is Wi-Fi or something in the sea because they had good service to talk to Cito. Okay, and good enough service for Warren to call his mama after the fight, allegedly. Okay, because I'm not sure the timeline, but that's when he mentioned when he called them. Okay, so the infrastructure for communication is close to none, which is a hazard. That is disgusting. There's no emergency cell, call box, landlines, Wi-Fi. Call service is a little bit spotty. So they're not supposed to bring animals. They're not to have motorized vehicles or generators there. Wow. Why is they hosting events there? And glass and alcohol restriction. Glass containers are strictly illegal on all beaches that prevent litter and injury, and all alcoholic beverages are not permitted. And they should have said especially by teenagers under the age of 21, while everybody's here acting like these people over 21, like they were just drinking. First it was just Nolan. Now everybody messed up. You see all the boys with bottles in their hand, but this just normal. But just as normal. I'm so old school. This shit ain't normal. No. Okay. So, campfires. Fires are only allowed between extremely high tide. Lines used to draft wood. No fire permitted near the dew or vegetation area. So they don't have a lot of rules there. I'm going to see, can I find more information about the rounds of the National Park Service Rangers? Like, what do they do? Because they don't have people there 24 hours, but they do have people there enough to clear that island out. But remember, Dad said, Nolan's dad, because we always talking about mom, Nolan's dad is doing his thing. He said directly that he know of people who spent the night at Home Island that night. We showed you in the first series of interviews that they came out. We have that clip. I'm not going to go into it right now, but he did say that someone spent the night. There's no reason for no one to have seen Nolan there. So next week, when we go into part 5, you know what we're going to be going into. So while we get into the boat and the island, we're going to get into the rules and regulations, into more details of what should have been. Now, to close off, let's talk about a little bit of law. Hold up, before we get corny, let me see if I can show y'all another clip before we get corny. You're like, oh my God, I want to hear this. I want to hear this. Let's play this. This is the new buzz of what's going on right now.
Breaking news, mangas, and gentlemen. This is crazy. A few new photos, screenshots, pure survival, just was released of a fight about to ensue during survival on Horn Island on the 4th of July, pure survival. You can see Nolan Wells, alleged fake friends, pure survival. Look at Warren. This is Warren right here, and allegedly Bart Edmonston, Mr. Damit Bart, pure survival, is supposed to be here. And if you look at this picture very clear, it looks like a fight is about to take place. This is crazy. Now, if these dudes ain't about to fight and they're about to kiss, I don't know. Maybe they were lovers, pure survival. Maybe these two boys were going steady. They were dating. If they are not motherfucking lovers, if they weren't getting their little Nas X on, then this shit looked like a fight was about to happen. And they already...
I love my Black people. We know how to bring humor to stuff. Yeah, but obviously it was some fight going on.
And there was a girl who just came out and said that it was a fight allegedly happened over Nolan's phone. And this looks like a black boy and it looks like a white boy in each other's face right now. Like they're about to motherfucking kiss or they're about to fight. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, I don't know if they're lovers, but this just came out. Like... You know, and y'all seen when Lil Nas X was walking down the street 4 o'clock in the morning, buck ass naked, talking about no. If this is not a Lil Nas X moment, then this really was a fight that happened on the 4th of July.
Okay. So now we're going to kind of just talk about what possibly can happen in a real indictment if they present this thing correctly. Okay, and let's put this up there so Bart could... Oh wait, before we do that, let's just show this. This is what I'm thinking possibly happened, just to show you guys if y'all did not see the post. We're going to get a little vivid right here, but what I do believe is that Nolan was possibly choked out from the back. Now, did he die from the choke out? I'm not sure. But what I do think is that they may have not known and they may have thrown his body over. This is my opinion when I tell you my opinion, okay? Because obviously Nolan was somewhere in the vicinity, floating by the water, by the boat when things was going down. Like he said, Nolan was sitting at the side of the boat with Katie when we was telling him, get in the boat. And obviously, I'm just giving them the benefit of the doubt. It had to be close to the island because Nolan floats on water. It must be the lower part of the water instead of the 31 foot. Okay. So I'm thinking something happened when he said, get the F on the boat. It was some argument. Nolan may have got on the boat in between the time where they were pulling off until 4:30. When they started launching off, something happened. At 4 o'clock, Nolan was by or on that boat because we hear what they're saying. Now, because of these injuries right here is what make me think that this young man was choked out. They held his throat area. We're going to show you that, the area that they have held from us. I mean, from not us, the other pathophysiologists. Okay, let's just show you that. We're going to get a little bit vivid here so you guys should just remember what we got going on. Hold on. I got so many pictures here. I mean, so much. Let's see. Let's see. I wanted to show y'all the picture of the throat. I thought I had it really close. Obviously, I don't. So I did show you the head injury from the back. So now what I'm going to show you is the possible action that could have created this. This is my opinion. This is not facts. This is just something that I came across and it made sense. I felt like it was some choking. I felt like his head hit something or was on something hard enough to cause soft tissue injury. And this is the only thing that makes actual sense to me. This is what white boys like to do. This is what y'all like to do. Don't play with me. Don't play with me. Y'all like to wrestle, tussle, choke on people till they pass out. That's dangerous. You know y'all like to do that. I don't understand choking till somebody pass out. That's death. That's not even a game. So this is what I think possibly happened to Nolan. But this is when I say it's my opinion. Okay. Let me show you just another version of this. Until they passed out and they maybe couldn't tell, was he bleeding? Was he breathing? That's why they said, Nolan, look at his chest and things like that. That was verified that the audio is authentic. It was verified. All right. So now what we're going to do is basically talk about a possible indictment. In my opinion, what they can present, because it can't just be the autopsy. It just can't be the autopsy. Let me put no up there. Respect to his mother. We will get justice some way, somehow. Okay. Let's move that. Now, all right. So boom. When you're looking at the state versus federal investigation, so right now, as far as jurisdiction, thank you for bringing that up. I'm sorry I don't have your name. Our audience member that said, yo, this should be federal because it happened like federal land, which is true. So the federal oversight is triggered automatically because the death did occur on Horn Island, or it involves civil violations that happens out in the sea. These people was drinking, boating, underage, all types of stuff going on. Okay, which gives the federal level jurisdiction. Statutes, investigators on the federal level can move forward with federal civil rights violation, possible hate crime. If all of these people, the hills that have eyes, 2,000 people. Thank you, Officer Tatum. Even though you didn't ask the right questions, but you did highlight that it was thousands of people, which can highlight some type of conspiracy. And then you take into account that there's a bunch of Caucasian people and one black. I mean, circumstance. They always trying to make it a racial thing. Shut up, y'all. Shut up, white people. Y'all my cousins. And I guess what, y'all? I was talking to my grandmother again, and I verified that her grandfather is a French white. Came into Haiti to colonize and got my great grandmother pregnant. Okay, that's probably why I have a little affinity for the white people, because I have y'all in my family. Okay, let's move forward. Yeah, moving forward. Federal grand jury. The use of the federal grand jury to prosecute can prove beneficial because it bypassed the local court system, because we pretty much know, or what we're seeing, that they don't want us to say or admit, because we can't talk about what they did or how they behaving or patterns, that nobody seems to get justice out in Mississippi that matches our brown skin. Y'all know how to sing that. Nothing but your brown skin. All right, shout out to Woo Breezy, my Zoes out there. If it's us, justice or just us. So it'll be much more beneficial to get it into federal jurisdiction. And I was kind of skeptical. I was like, the feds, they never help us. Jesus Christ, Kanika Jenkins, Jenna Six, all types of shit. But we do have some cases that I can share with you that actually went the right way when they stepped in. Okay, I'm not gonna get too boring, but we do have some cases. I had to look this up. It had to give me some damn hope, because I was like, dude, I'm just waiting for them to just do whatever to us, God to come save us and strike all these motherfuckers down. I don't know when the El Stapo gonna come, but I don't think y'all gonna do it, honestly. But those cases made me have some hope. Now, variables, considering the variables for bias. We have a Republican federal jurisdiction that is working under Project 2025. Okay, if you don't go what they say, you ain't part of the status norm, which we know is a subsection or a new highlight, let's say that, of what they want America to be, which is Hunger Games. I'm going to the left. Either way, we have a risk of racism, but there's a lower risk in the federal versus local because that state versus the feds. The feds is more like centralized, so we'll be able to probably have more fighting, like a fighting stance because of the diversity. Okay, so local politics will play a role in that. If it's in the federal jurisdiction, they'll have more say than just if it stays in the state of Mississippi. Career federal agents answer to Washington and not the courts of Mississippi. I do apologize. I called it Tennessee. The courts of Mississippi. So I do think, even though I made that statement last week, like the feds, I got on my Nipsey Hustle, like I'm Trump, you know what I'm saying? But we're gonna have to have some hope in the system, and even if we don't, even if we do feel like the system is not gonna be there for us, at least we have the means and the education to fight. So again, guys, look at the bottom of this video. There are 2 petitions. Matter of fact, 3. I will close off with saying there is a petition that they have started for Nolan Wells. It's the Nolan Wells petition, and let me see if I can pull it up. Give me 1 second. Yeah. Now, this petition right here, the Nolan Wells Law, they have a petition for Nolan Wells Law that basically focused on directly on how death investigations go. This is going to be pushed for a federal law. They want to highlight how federal investigations are handled, how federal forensic pathophysiologists handles those investigations and their track record, and local law enforcement handles the case. It advocates for legislative reform, demanding transparency and strict accountability protocols, preventing state coroners from prematurely ruling out foul play before the investigation is complete. Now, guys, we're gonna have to do better. These people almost got $1 million for a possible criminal. I'm just saying, if you need to raise money for criminal defense, that means that you possibly looking at a criminal. No cap. Okay? Warm daddy. This is the petition. I'm gonna put the link in there. I need we at 123. Everybody who come up in here, please hit this petition, sign the petition. We should have millions signing this, because this don't only affect us in the Black community, it's general. And the petition doesn't say investigation that affect Black people only. Is to affect all of these issues with the way they handle investigation, prosecution of investigations, calling investigations a quit before you get all the information. This can happen to all of us. Okay? Y'all know I got stories for days. My white people. There was this young white boy a couple of years ago. He was probably like 15 or something. No, that's a lie. He's probably 18. I don't know if his name was Levi or something close. Basically, he got pulled over for the police. The police didn't like him. He was one of them dirt bike riders. This is the second time I heard about police possibly unaliving these Caucasian white boys who do the dirt bike, because they consider y'all like white trash. I'm on a dirty foot. They don't have respect for y'all. And allegedly they unalived him. One incident, they knew him from dirt bike riding, and at that police stop, they shot the young boy. He was 18. The other one was the boy was basically known for riding around on a dirt bike, and they have a whole unsolved mysteries about this one. And the town was trying to fight to get this officer not hired back. And the sheriff was trying to stick with him. But basically, he had told the boy, which was Caucasian, that I'm going to kill you next time I saw you. And he told his friends that. He was like, if this officer see me, he's going to kill me. And that day, he saw him and he chased him down. And the young boy went into the forest and never came out. And they found him hanging. And they said that he did it to himself. young boy, 16, 17 years old. I'm gonna find the video and put it at the bottom for y'all, because y'all know I'll be watching everything. Missing 411, murder mysteries, Bigfoot, DNA, biblical history, whatever it is, Grace Levi is on it. So with that goes to say, you had a mouthful. I've been cooking for almost 2 hours. I hope I shared a lot with y'all. I'll be live next Sunday or Monday cooking on part 5 of the Nolan Wells case. I'll possibly be live Thursday or Friday going over the Carmelo case, the appeal, and some of the things that I feel about that case. All of them should be going to jail. All of those teenagers, because if they locking our kids up because they're with someone in the commission of a crime, everybody should be locked up. So let me get to y'all comments before I get off of here, because I was just about to give y'all a bye-bye. I'm about to get to it. Let me see what y'all got. I put a few comments that was pinned. Here we go. Right here, I don't know if y'all can see it. There's no footage where someone is heard shouting, "Get out, get on the boat." They're lying. That was the friend shouting at Nolan. Another friend admitted it. It was his uncle shouting. And I believe that, and I agree, because you don't hear him say that. And in his interview, he didn't say that, like, my girlfriend took my phone, I was yelling at her, "Give me my phone." That wasn't happening. The boat took a long time to get back and took a long loop around. I do have the picture of the boat and the track record. I just want to show y'all the boat, where the boat went. And that's what we need to figure out next week. Like, yo, how did this boat travel? Because it was in some places where it went really fast. Like, it was really fast. It just got there. It was there. Don't pay no mind to me. Y'all gotta be theatrical. Let me see if I can find that boat picture. Here we go. I gotta be theatrical. You see what I'm saying? Look at this. Look at this. That's Levi. Let me move this off the screen real quick so you guys can see it. Could y'all see it? It's processing the picture. Y'all can see it? Let me know. I don't know if y'all can see it. Hold on. Let me get to y'all comments, because it's saying it's processing the picture. Maybe my broadcast is like, that's enough. But if y'all can see this picture, let me remove it. He said, I'm tired of you, Grace. You've been cooking. This is enough. Give me 1 second. Let me see if I can show y'all the picture. Talk about processing the picture. There we go. Can y'all see it now? When you was like, it took a while for the boat to get there. Look, from 4:31 to 4:35, they booked it. They got right here from the 31 feet to the island. And then, they're going to make this bigger. Then at 5:52, they got like, whoa, what happened from here? What took them so long to get here? And that's if that's what you was talking about from when they first got here, when they went to Fort Bayou. Because this is where something happened with Nolan. Something happened with Nolan right around here, and they booked it. Then they went to Fort Bayou, and they were right around this area. Went to one dock, back to here, back to the same dock. Then went to Fort Bayou boat launch at 7:19. So is that what you're talking about? We're going to be getting into that next week. I had to cook on that, guys. I got to get my brain wrapped up for that, baby. That's a whole lot. So what else? Let me get back to y'all comments. Let me see. I'm going to just get to a few more, guys, because I am tired. Hold on 1 second. All comments. I'm a retired Army cabinet vet. What the fuck have you done? Who done? What have they done? Be more specific, okay? And we want a whole sentence. We want something that go with this investigation, okay? If you feel like something I said was wrong, just correct it. National Guard. Try Coast Guard. The Coast Guard. Okay, you clearly are not very intelligent. Yeah, I think I am. You stood here for the whole live, baby. Sometimes I do mix up the names, but it is the Coast Guard. So if I did say the National Guard, it is what it is. White people, y'all make the same mistakes even worse. Half of y'all can't even pronunciate nothing. That's why y'all mad at DEI, because we had to be so damn smart. And y'all thought y'all was going to get the jobs and y'all couldn't. All right. Make fun of me. I'm going to get on your ass too. Okay. All right. All right. Obstruction An active investigation is also criminal offense. Obstructed and active, yes, it is. And I do believe, in my opinion, possibly there is some adults that's playing a role or played a role on that particular day, highlighting what we showed you. How did Jerry know to tell them, don't go, they're fine? Who called Bart? And from what we're seeing, Bart was there from the beginning. So why did they call Cito? It's so many whys. It's like you said, something is not right here. It is not. Okay. As you said, Mr. M123, they were all grouped together, standing in the water, waist high. Somebody seen something and heard from the picture of a lot of people from her. So yeah, someone did see, and the other pictures that's up there. Somehow 2,000 people wiped out all of their social media. They tight knit, yo. That's what he said. Warren, we a very tight knit community. Even the mixed boy said that, but he's kind of like 3 layers out. Like, how you can hear how the degrees of separation. When people, hold on, let's watch this. When people this age are drinking, things can turn bad in an instant. A fight, a prank goes bad, and accident, etc. Exactly, especially with that mindset that I told you that Warren said they had. Like, everything is a joke. So they will do extreme stuff like choke, punch, mess with people, do pranks that be extreme, that they be like, I was just kidding, man. That's why I don't play those type of games. But with liquor involved in it too, and no real parental advisory, all they was doing, drinking. Imagine drinking for 6 hours in the sun, if they had water. And what happened on the 4th hour? Fight. Okay. How does he automatically assume that the audio is doctored without any evidence? Are you talking about Tatum? Are you talking about Bart's lawyer? Exactly. And let's talk about this, because we may go into Bart's lawyer's statement. Y'all, he weird as hell. Let's put Bart on the screen. Shut up. God protect Grace. Let's put it on the screen. Let's put Bart on the screen real quick so we could just cook on his lawyer real quick. Because y'all, he's a weirdo. My thing is, why say that your client is innocent and you are the defamation lawyer? What? First and foremost, why did the defamation lawyer say with Chromo cover up King, see part of that? Why did Bart, defamation lawyer, say that he saw the autopsy and he knows the autopsy, but he was afraid to go into more detail like Chromo did? Y'all know I'm talking about Chromo. I call him Chromo. All that COVID shit. Acting like he ain't take it, like he was just control opposition. Oh, I'm getting distracted. But in that interview, he directly said or implied that these 2 individuals saw the autopsy and mom did not. How weird is that? You're just a defamation lawyer. Are you actually for the legal defense that Bart may need in them? It's weird. How do you have this information and mom doesn't? This shit is so biased. This is the how for me. And you want us not to feel like something is suspect with the things that you are saying or doing, and then you're telling us don't even say his name, don't mention him, when they said, damn it, Bart. I mean, are you out of your freaking mind? Now look, before I keep on, I get myself in trouble. Let's just watch this too. I'm almost done. I found something else. One more thing. This is one of the TikTok content creators who said that there was a statement about what happened, and then we're going to sign off. This was another one.
It was Andrew and Evan, and Wyatt and Warren was basically recording and laughing, saying, get him, and all I could hear was no screaming, mom. Okay? Do you hear that? Did you read that again? It was Andrew and Evan, and Wyatt and Warren was basically recording and laughing, saying, get him. All of them 4 need to come to the front of the room.
Jesus
be breathing and be comfortable if I was really as bad as they was making it. You know, nobody could be around me. So for me to be this calm, I must have some kind of inner peace. And my inner peace is knowing that once everybody take the time to really see what type of person I am, you'd be surprised that I stuck around this long.
I have to make the life that I do live as happy as I can and try to do the best with what I have. You know, live the best life I can live, be as happy as I can be. Nothing is perfect for anybody. I don't know.
Boys, I swear, I think I figured it out. You know why they don't want us redneck brothers and sisters and the hood brothers and sisters getting along? You know why? Because we'd be unstoppable. I'm telling you right now, we would shut shit down.
Not come this far to just break down and lose now. I'm a winner. I'm going to win. I'm going to
Going cash on random TikTok trends? Instead, dive into Real Estate Monthly Info Sessions. Next level smart move. These sessions make real estate investing feel like a cheat code. Unlock wealth, understand tax lien auctions, and mitigate risks without the stress. Crazy affordable, like a Netflix subscription for your financial future. With thousands attending, it's legit. Wealth, knowledge, ease, don't miss out. Sign up now.